There we go. All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Real News tonight. Hashtag SummerSlam. Hashtag Trump rally night. It's pretty lit. No masks. Living life again. At least some of us are. And some of us are being a bunch of bitches. But, wow. Lots of crap happening. Good, bad, ugly, and scary. How's SummerSlam going, Phil? I know you're watching that.
Yeah, I am definitely watching it. It's crazy. Like halfway into this thing, there's already 3 title changes. You've got, I don't know, like Becky Lynch, who took like almost about a year off because she was pregnant. Like she gave birth, worked out, recovered, came back tonight, and basically punched her opponent, who was the women's champion, punched her, gave her a finishing move, and boom, new champion. Like, right out
Wow.
of the gate. So,
What a comeback.
yeah, like you couldn't have asked for basically a better comeback. Um, this is, yeah, and the cool thing about SummerSlam, it's one of the 3 main pay-per-views, like along with Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, that they're so big that they actually play at a stadium. Like this one is in Allegiant Stadium, which is the brand new built Raiders Stadium in Las Vegas, and it packed it sold out, packed out almost immediately.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
good. Good that we're having in-person events again. We're having fun. We're living life again. That's my I see. Even though I'm not a wrestling fan, but I
yeah.
just think it's good.
And I gotta say, look, you may or may not like wrestling, but I have to give them, you can't help but give them their props. They are the ones that like spearhead, like we're not gonna let masks fuck our entertainment show up. Like
Nice.
we're coming, we're coming, and like that, for a little bit they, because the coronavirus had its thing, and basically all the other states were kind of banning events, so like they had to stay in their headquarters in Florida and do their, basically their weekly wrestling shows in Florida. But like WrestleMania happened in Florida. Everybody loved that. You had, yeah, I mean, this is just as much as awesome of yeah, I mean, just, yeah, it's like I'm seeing it's at least 50,000. Like you're talking at least 50,000 people there, probably more, because
Nice.
I'm looking at the cheap seats. It's, yeah, I mean, they're there too. Like I can't imagine, because I want to say that stadium has to hold 80,000 people.
Jesus.
So yeah.
Super spreader.
Well, yeah, we'll get into we'll get into more of that a little bit, but I'm gonna relay back to I'm gonna hand the ball back off to you there, Sean. How you were watching the Trump rally, right?
Yes. Oh my God.
Share.
You want to talk about? Okay.
Share time here. Let's do this.
Yeah. Let's share everything we've been watching this evening. I mean, it was just massive. I only saw a little bit because I've been very busy right now. It's just doing a bunch of shit, but I saw a little bit of it, and oops, I just died. No, I didn't die. Okay, I died. It was just massive. It's still going on now. Everybody should tune in on RSBN or any alternative news source. Isn't Fox or the mainstream media, but it's massive. There must be, you were just talking 80,000, dude. This must be a 50,000, 80,000 rally, because I posted on Twitter, and you guys can all see if you start searching Twitter, hashtag Trump rally. There's just so many people like, it just keeps going. It's amazing. Just, I know he always talks about his crowds, and we always talk about how big and massive they are, but it is just amazing seeing that nobody gets crowds like this, and he isn't even fucking president. He's a post-president man, post-presidency, and he has, it must be 80,000 people at this motherfucking thing. But I just love, and he's done this before, but when he does it, it's just lovely, is when he was talking about all the woke shit happening. He's like, when you get woke, you're a loser. Everything goes when everything I forget how he phrased it. He said when everything
Get woke,
goes
bro,
woke.
bro.
Yeah, he said something along those lines, kind of. But he said when something goes woke, everything goes to shit. It was great. And the crowd just like started just losing it when he said it. I'll find the quote on because I DM'd it to Phil because I was watching, and I just laughed when I heard it. He said, "Everything woke turns to shit." Yeah, that was Trump's quote. Everything woke turns to shit. And ain't that the truth? I mean, the power with him is, again, he's always saying the things everyone wants to say and says hushity hush behind closed doors, but nobody can say it in person at their work, or they'll get fired, they'll get canceled, they'll get Democrats coming to their doors with pitchforks. I mean, I just love to see it. So that's what's going on now. Everybody should tune in, watch King Trump deliver another speech and hint at a 2024 run, which is going to happen. And of course he's talking about Afghanistan, which we talked about last show, and I want to touch on a little bit more because there have been, I guess, some developments, but it's just awful. Just a total, complete, utter failure. And I made a prediction on Twitter. I said 2016, Obama gave us Trump. Obama gave us Trump 2016. Biden will give us Trump 2024. And you can feel it.
I hope. I seriously do. I think they're gonna do you see what they're doing with the Trump organization? They're gonna try to make it so he's in some sort of legal battle.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yep, they're trying. They put on a criminal investigation, but he's not getting pulled in, thankfully, at least not yet. But it's messed up. They're gonna try everything to stop him, and it's only gonna get worse as they get more desperate. And you can see the desperation in them. And with Afghanistan, like, even the mainstream media is still ripping Biden for it. I think when we were last on, I think that was at the time when we had the picture of the helicopter leaving, Vietnam style, fall of Saigon. If arguably much worse. I know Phil can talk more about this, but the images and videos that we didn't see at the time were the planes leaving the airport. And there's one military plane where all these people are around it, crowd people around, and they're climbing onto the plane as it's taken off. And then as it's in the sky, people are on the motherfucking plane, like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. But unlike him, they didn't hang on. These people fell off the plane. That's Biden's legacy, is people, Afghanis on the American plane, hanging on for dear life, and then falling off. People are falling off fucking planes under Biden.
And it's still not over.
If you follow the Trump train, you won't have the Biden fucking plane.
Biden Express.
Trump train versus the Biden plane.
Yes.
And at this point, Biden needs to hope. At this point, because it's already bad. Even now, it's already bad. But even right now, he needs to hope that there's no.
Sorry, I was talking to Alex.
Yes, right. He needs to hope that there's no American casualties.
Yeah.
If there's any American casualties, or if there's like Americans that get captured and basically get beheaded on YouTube or something like that, like I'm not sure if his presidency will survive it.
It's blood on his hands.
Yeah,
this is a plan. I think Kamala's getting ready to go and pick up the pieces. I think they're going to try to throw his ass under the bus, and Kamala's going to go and take over.
I mean that's awesome.
Have you guys been following Posovic's Twitter on that? He's been talking about a shade wars he's calling it going on between Biden team. He calls it Team B and Team K, Team Biden, Team Harris. There's so much infighting. It's like Game of Thrones type backstabbing and cutthroat viciousness. It is brutal right now because this is a big fuck up, and Kamala doesn't need this because it kind of hurts her indirectly, and so she's taking a step back. And apparently Biden snubbed her by not giving her a chance to do a speech after this, which she wanted to do, and she apparently is just so mad. And there have been talks that he would resign, that she would try to run, but she wants to distance herself from this so badly, and that's why she's keeping quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Because for context, Posobiec has a source inside the White House. I mean, he has a really good freaking source. That's
The real-
getting all this.
What the fuck is this?
What was that?
We just got kicked out of that for some reason.
Oh, really? Yeah, it says leaving matchmaking. What happened? Did we get banned? Is it frozen on your end?
No, is yours frozen?
Yeah, mine's frozen.
All right, let me bring it back out. Let me know when you're not frozen.
Ah, they're hacking our transmission. It's a globalist.
Yeah, but like that's so beta, like doing this shade war, and you know I hope that like the Soviet sources are better than like the QAnon shit. Like these are actually like real legit sources.
No, they are.
They're pretty good.
Yeah,
He's
he's been
one of
ahead of
the-
the curb.
He's one of the few solid ones that are actually like left. I don't know, because I mean,
Are you back on the keep? You able to see shit again, Sean?
No, I have to restart the game.
yeah, because I mean, we had him on our show. He's like, first off, very intelligent, very well spoken. Always seems to have his finger on whatever's going on, and you know, I mean, he was an intelligence officer in the military, so he's very well versed.
Navy intelligence officer and is fluent in Mandarin.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough language.
Yeah. You tried it.
Well, see, I probably could have actually done better, but like, you know, if I would have actually went to China or something. But once he stopped using that shit, you know, like I was actually pretty decent, but then I just stopped using it, man. You know, it's not like there's a lot of shit I'm gonna see from China. I'm gonna get away from that. It's not like the media like I mean they have media and shit, but it's not like, you know, fucking Germany or something, or like fucking Japan with their fucking anime shit. You know, it's all in Japanese. Well, that's what a lot of these fucking weebs will do these days, is learn Japanese from
anime.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a good chance that this could be the worst military blunder, and by this I mean the Biden Afghanistan debacle.
So I'm curious, where are U.S. troops still at across the world? Like, do we have any other like, are we still in Iraq at all? Are we in any other Middle Eastern countries?
Yeah, we have. Well, I mean, we're
everywhere.
I mean, yeah, we're pretty much everywhere, but I mean, not in a obviously not in a major base capacity. Like, we've got FOBs pretty much all over the world, and of course we got, you know,
I'm talking about like Afghanistan was like in the Middle East. Like I know we were in Iraq at one point.
Yeah, Iraq is very there's a small presence, very Afghanistan-ish like present over
Trump
there
pulled
in
a lot
Iraq.
of troops out.
Yeah, so
he knew how to fucking pull them out.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's got a good pull-out game.
Yeah.
Trump.
very good.
And we knew that before he was president.
But this is incredibly bad, and the problem is, like, at first, like, the more he talked in public, the worse it got.
Oh,
'Cause,
God.
I don't, and hear me out here. I really do. This makes me believe, like, him talking on the podium makes me actually believe more that he does have something cognitive going wrong up there. Because think about it. If a blunder like this happens with any other president, what usually happens? Someone gets fired, right? Like, someone gets fired. And it doesn't even, it could be small, right? It could be something small as a scandal, and someone's getting fired. Like, arguably the worst military blunder in American history just happened this week.
Other than Iraq.
No, this is probably worse. Dude, I have friends who went to Vietnam. Well, I mean, acquaintances, but yeah, no, friends. Yeah, I'll say friends. They're good people. They went to Afghanistan, or they went to they were in Vietnam, and they were saying that this might be worse than Vietnam, just because.
I think it is.
Because
they
because
just
of
such a shit pullout. I don't think anyone was expecting that. Like, at least with Vietnam, everyone was like, okay, Like there was, I mean, there was pretty popular sentiment over there, but like nothing like this. You know, like this was just there's a way to go and do an exit strategy, and there's a way to go and like not do it, and they just fucked it up.
But
like, I agree we should have got out, but like,
yeah,
you know,
Gotta get out correctly.
Yeah. So he so normal people, normal politicians, which are what the fuck does that mean anymore? Normal, they fire people, but he didn't fire it. Instead, he basically went and said, "Oh, we needed to pull out. It's done, whatever." And nobody was saying that we shouldn't have left. That wasn't even the argument. Yeah, that wasn't even the argument. The argument is why. First off, why did you give everybody a date as to when you're pulling everything out by, right?
Just like Obama.
Because you just basically telegraphed, hey, we're pulling all our stuff out by this date. So you basically telegraphed when to launch your offensive. And then you remove the troops before the employees
and the people.
The national, like it's incredible. There was really no, and Biden said, oh, we had contingency plans for everything.
Okay, well then what happened to him?
You more like Trump had him, and you said fuck you to Trump.
Well, it came out. National Pulse, Raheem Kassam reported that Biden months ago scrapped the entire Trump pullout plan. Because they were acting like that. They were acting like they were following through with what Trump did, but it turns out like within a few months he was in office, they completely scrapped the whole plan, and we have proof of it.
Well, I think this was like as a get back for the fucking Iran deal sort of thing, but they sort of misjudged it. Like these are two different things. Like the Iran thing wasn't even a military conflict; that was just a fucking negotiation. This has people's lives attached to it, and it's just like as a fuck you to Trump, but it'll end up fucking himself over in the end.
Instead of letting it happen, like as a plan and giving more organic flexibility to the drawdown, like Trump's plan would have had. He basically said, nope, I want them all out by this date. We're going to make it happen. And we're going to try to, he wanted to sell it on September 11th. He wanted to make a public, hail to victory basically on September 11th by saying, oh, we got the troops out by September 11th, victory, blah, blah, blah. And it ended up being a fucking disaster.
Yeah. And I'm going to give a few takes, but...
Well, hold on, too. And then that's not even it. They left so much shit back there.
The equipment.
Billions of dollars are in the Taliban's hands. At least if you're going to pull out, destroy your shit.
Yeah.
Don't give them weapons.
Yeah, the Taliban is... they're driving around our tanks. They're with our weapons, with our bombs, with everything. They have everything they could ever dream of. And I think even planes... I think they have planes. I think they have more planes than like 161 countries in the world right now. Thanks to us.
Yeah. You know it'd be fucked up if they just like redid 9/11 with our own planes.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, here's you want to hear the conspiracy angle to this?
What?
Which is, on the one hand, high incompetency in government is extremely possible, especially if it's Joe Biden at the head of everything. What if this is all intentional? What if this is all a part of the plan?
Maybe fucking, what do you think, a Kamala or something slip that in to get Biden to do this and then have him fall on his sword for it?
I think it could be the military industrial complex wanting to go back to more wars, which means we need more money and we need more equipment and we need more of everything, and we need to go... Not necessarily maybe do a ground invasion again, because I think Americans won't let that happen again, but they might use it as more justification to do more things that they love to do, which is a lot of shit, I know, and I don't fully understand military-industrial complex, but they love that their business is war. Okay, it's just look at it that simply. Their business is war, and they want more of it. Well, pulling out doesn't give them more war; it gives them less. So
Yeah, so by arming the enemies, they're gonna expect more conflicts over there. Then boom, that the sort of.
yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. I don't doubt anything anymore. Nothing is nothing's too crazy in today's world after everything we know. And what's really really bad too is there's also the possibility that Biden and Kamala and everybody in charge, they just want to pull out so badly, and they knew it'd be ugly. They knew it'd be ugly, and they thought, let's close our eyes and hope it's not too ugly. And it became even worse.
I don't think this was Kamala's idea.
I don't think so, because she's not that stupid. She's actually kind of smart.
She seems like she's getting pretty pissed about it.
Absolutely.
This is making their whole like, unless she did this as a way to go and like fuck over Biden. That's the only way I could see her having any sort of stuff with this, because he's been like completely apparently like ignoring her team after this and not letting them speak.
Oh yeah, there's been a total shade war. They're totally like, and even before all this, they have been at each other's throats. The two teams, like, it's literally a civil war has always been waging in the White House over these two staff teams, and it's just gotten way worse with Afghanistan, because they said like, this is a total fuck up and you're making us all look bad. And if I were her, I'd feel the same way too. I mean, it does make her look bad. It makes everybody look bad.
It's bad when even the
CNN is saying it's bad.
Right. When you got a few MSNBC people that are like, dude, that's like,
well,
they're praises.
Democrat propaganda 101 right there.
I've seen people try to blame this on Trump somehow.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it falls apart.
Trump's plan.
It falls apart immediately, though. Yeah. Like at first they tried it, but like once they look deeper into it, it's like that logic falls apart almost immediately.
Yeah.
And then even with Joy Reid was trying to do that, and then she was trying to pivot to, we haven't done shit with the January 6th thing, and of course that came the day that the FBI was like, scan evidence that it actually
Oh,
Trump,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, even like you can't even sell it. You can't even sell that this was Trump's problem, because Trump had a plan. And what was smart of Trump to do is go on the airwaves and go, look, this is the plan. This is what I had. This is what I would have done. Yeah. Right. And he went step by step how he was going to do it. And then, that just ruins the narrative. Like, that basically says, no, who the fuck is running the military? Who's running the military? Right?
Is it these woke generals? Is it our commander-in-chief, Joe Biden? Is it people that actually are evil and want this to happen? Because one thing Trump talks about that clearly shows you that this is Biden's plan. This isn't Trump's plan. Trump wanted to pull out in May. Why do you want to pull out in May? It's because that's when apparently there are fighting seasons. That's when the Taliban was going to be mostly inactive. There would be very little fighting. But Biden decides to pull out not when the Taliban are chilling at the beach and sipping martinis. No, he decides to pull out during the peak of their fighting season. The peak of it. And so they took over the whole country in 2 weeks. It's so embarrassing. And China is loving this.
I think Biden thought this would be some sort of quick win. Like, everyone wants to get out of the Middle East. Okay, here you go. And then boom, it's like, oh, well, fuck.
Well, no, another conspiracy theory.
If he even did it, if he even was the one who actually made that command, which I'm not convinced, I think he had some advisor tell him that. Probably some fucking intern or something. Like, oh yeah, let's do this. Or some complete, like, anti-war, like, that's all they think about. And they don't think about the political repercussions of pulling out in this manner. Just like, all right, let's just get everyone out.
Steve Smith in chat says, no, we can. I don't know what you're referencing, sir. So if you give context to that, we can talk about it. But no, I see what you're saying, Alex. And it's when it's really, really, really bad when almost everybody in the media is panning Biden for this and calling it a failure, embarrassment. I mean, when you even have George Stephanopoulos pressing him on it, who's the Democrat shill activist in the media, who used to be in the Clinton administration, calling Biden out for this, that's how bad it is. When people, older than me, like boomers, oldest generation, say how, oh, Jimmy Carter's the worst president ever, I go, I guess, okay, but I don't know how bad it really was. I wasn't alive.
Biden's on pace.
Yeah.
He is on a record-breaking pace to dash Jimmy Carter as the worst.
Well, now I know what it was like. Now I know what these people mean when they say that. And I think what's going to happen next, because we still have Americans over there, you're going to have an Iran hostage-style situation. If the Taliban, which I don't think is a bright idea, but they might see some benefit in it, I think the Taliban might take some Americans hostages. I don't know if we'll get beheading videos. If so, that is ungodly bad for us. But I think they're gonna take Americans hostage. I mean, they're already kind of semi hostages there right now because they can't fucking leave without some assistance from good old Uncle Sam. But dude, I think they're gonna be hostages, and I think China's gonna make some moves on Taiwan. I don't know what exactly they'll do, but it's bad. That's where I think it's going to get worse than Jimmy. I mean, to me, it's already arguably worse than Jimmy Carter, but I think it'll be definitively worse once Americans are taken hostage, China makes moves on Taiwan.
Do you think that they would actually do that right now? Do you think that the Taliban would be smart enough to go and say, well, you know what, let's just go and like fuck over the non-Americans? So, I don't know. Maybe they will do a hostage, but maybe they'll be like, okay, let's not go and fucking do this because then they'll come back. Maybe that was the whole plan.
Well, consider, too, that there are all these different cells with different interests, and whenever a quote-unquote revolution happens, infighting and different interests start clashing because they've all completed their common goal. Now, all these other goals that they had that they put aside for this are now coming back into it, where you might see just one small group of them do something stupid, like take a hostage. So it might change like that. And that's what I think is likely.
But look, on the bright side, though.
Oh boy.
On the bright side, like, America and a lot of other countries, they sent a letter.
Oh.
They sent a letter.
Oh.
Asking them to please, a very thoughtful letter asking them to kindly protect the women and girls of the country.
Did they include the LGBT community?
Right.
There is going to be rapes coming out, like on Pornhub or something from this.
Yeah,
live. I guess they don't have live leak anymore. Like they're going to be those aren't be protected. I think if you're American, you might be I mean, maybe not. But if you're like Afghani and you work with the U.S. at all, you're fucked.
But Alex, they sent a letter. Okay, they sent a letter, and it's a very heartfelt one too.
Letter probably written by a committee or something too.
Right. Look, I mean, yes, it was professionally done, and yes, probably somebody else wrote it or whatever.
It was an MLA format.
But it was heartfelt.
I'm sure the Taliban, when they got that letter, they were like, was going to rape this chick, but now I'm just not going to do it.
I was going to beat and rape this chick, but I look at letter and I'm like, fuck it.
It's not worth it. Oh no, Joe Biden will hurt me. Well, one of the interesting things I've been seeing from Trump too in his post-presidency is, I mean, he's already pretty candid and blunt, and that's why we love him, but post-presidency Trump in interviews is even more candid, where he'll start letting little stuff slip in about what really is going on behind the scenes. Like he was saying how, I forget if it was Iran or Afghanistan, basically controls the Senate, because he says when he makes a move or talks about making a move on one of those countries, he'll get like 1 million calls from every senator, like trying to get him to stop it. Like it's pretty crazy. And he also said that when he talked to the Taliban leader, I mean, this is so badass. He didn't say what he specifically said, but he's like, yeah, when I talked to the Taliban leader, I told him, and obviously some more frank language because I won't reveal our private conversation, but I basically told him that if he kills or hurts a single American, he will see firepower, he will see destruction like the world has never seen before. And I told him, I know where your base is. And I named it. I said the name and the location, and he knew where it was. He knew we were right. And I told him it'd be a real shame if an American got killed, because we know where your base is, and you'll see destruction like you've never seen before. I was like, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
No nice letters asking please and do this and do that.
Yeah. It was very good. It was very good. The smart thing to do for Donald Trump was at the second all this bullshit was happening, he went right on, you know, Maria Bartiromo. He went on Hannity, all these shows, and basically like went into detail as what his plan was. So there's no way they could have said, oh well, Trump, well this was Trump's thing, and they even tried. I mean, Biden even tried, but it was like, one, that wasn't true, obviously, because Trump laid out his plan. It was significantly better than what Biden did. And two, let's just hypothetically say that, you know, Trump's plan was shit. You had 7 months. You literally had 7 months to make this thing work, and you didn't. Like, that's plenty of time. 7 months is plenty of time to make a plan and implement it, right? And you didn't do it. So,
well, and also just a simple fact that when he blames Trump, where it falls apart and so stupid is Trump's not president. You're president. This is on you.
Yeah, like he was shitting on Trump for like saying thanks Obama and stuff like that, but he's doing the same shit.
Yeah, no, it's so bad. I mean, I could go on for hours because it's a good lesson in how not to do something, because it's so bad. And I remember even before all this happened, do you remember when he was on TV and he was saying, this will not be like Vietnam, this will not be like Saigon? I remember in the back of my mind just thinking, because I didn't know it was going to be this bad, I thought, something tells me he's going to eat his words on that. Like, it just I mean, I think maybe I automatically think about everything he says, but I just remember thinking at the time, like, I wouldn't have said that. It's a little, you don't want to really set yourself up to fail that badly, because when I heard he was changing what Trump was going to do, I was just like, I don't know how well this is going to turn out. And it turned out to be bad. So, yeah, we're going to keep up to date on this because, as Phil said, this is far from over. This is not the end. And that's going to be what's going to be really awful about this, is that there's going to be more. So, I think we've said all we can about that so far. Speaking of Biden, though, you said something about Biden and guns, I think, Alex, that he's making doing some shit on guns.
Yeah, so he just decided to go and stop all importation of Russian ammo, Russian-made ammunition.
Why is it Russian collusion to have Russian ammo?
He claims it's for some journalist who died like years ago, but here's my thing. Like, it was from some journalist, but like, dude, no, it's not. We all know he wanted to implement some sort of gun control, and like right now, the easiest thing he can do, because he doesn't have to go through Congress or anything to do this, you know, ammo ban. He just has to go and fucking sign the fucking pen. And right now, we already have, like, and it's because of this pandemic and all this other stuff, we've been having really high ammo prices. And because of this, now it's going to be even higher because, like, Russian ammo, that's like 40% of the U.S. ammo market, especially for certain rounds like 7.62 by 39 and 9 by 18 Makarov. So, and like those were like the, you know, at least 7.62 by 39, like that was like actually pretty decent up until now. Now it's like gone, you know, way like over double the price within the past couple of days.
Wow.
So, like, and basically it'll stop all Russian ammo like imports after like September 7th or something.
What's the point of this? I don't understand it.
He claims it's like to punish the Russians, but in all honesty, it was just to implement, you know.
That's
to
a
make it
drop
harder.
in the barrel.
Dude,
That's
like,
a drop in the barrel.
and then, like, you know, if you
Or
wanted
the
to punish
bucket.
him, you could have done, like, they had that whole pipeline that he gave them permission to make. If you wanted to really
Yeah.
punish him, you shouldn't have done that. Like, that's how we know it's bullshit. I think that the what was it, Firearm Policy Coalition or whatever, and like some other groups are planning to sue him for it. I don't know if they'll win because apparently that's, you know, within his right to make those changes, but you know, it's bullshit.
Yeah, that's just a weird move. It sounds like some special interest got him to do that because
No, he wanted to do it. Like I think he was trying to do like some sort of other bands. Like he was like the 3D printed gun stuff, and I don't think that's gonna work. And maybe the Bob or the ATF guy, maybe he's salty about that, so he wanted to get a quick win. But like, it's pissing off a lot of people.
Yo, did you see that the head of the ATF is the one of the dudes that like was behind and defended Waco?
Yeah, apparently he said some racist shit too.
Of course.
Allegedly.
Yeah, this is Biden's America. And to all those libertarian, like, hardcore gun nuts that were like, well, I didn't vote for Trump or Biden because both are bad with guns and do gun control. I voted for, oh, what the fuck was her name? I don't even remember her name. Jorgensen. This is what you voted for. This is what you got. This is what you did.
Yeah, it's retarded. You know, this Joe Jurgensen, all these third parties, like, all it does is screw over the party that's, like, it's tied to.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's dumb, 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 dumb. And it's like, if you're still voting that way now, in 2021, when the FBI is persecuting anybody on the right and the globalists are literally selling us out to China, I mean, you are a child and need to grow up because there's a bigger picture here. And to go into that sort of stuff too, because I think Phil alluded to it, was the FBI came out and said, January 6th, remember that thing that was an insurrection that Roger Stone and Alex Jones were behind, and all these evil Trump supporters planned to take over the government and do a coup? Oh, that wasn't organized. That wasn't pre-planned. So it was just a protest that got out of hand, became a riot. Now, why are they saying this, though? Why are they saying this? Because the narrative has been that this was an organized insurrection. It was a planned insurrection. That's the whole media narrative. And now it's a complete 180. And I think the reason is because people like Revolver and Tucker Carlson have dug deeper and have found that the FBI were the ones that planned and organized an insurrection. Or should I say, planned and organized January 6th to blow up like it did. I think that's why they're trying to cover their ass.
They're trying to go for a win right now, I think. I think after this whole Afghanistan thing, they're desperately searching for some sort of win. And they try this January 6th thing, and I think the more people are starting to realize that it was blown out of proportion by the fake news media.
And the right is now slowly more and more realizing that this was just a Fed false flag. There's a bunch of Fed provocateurs that gin people up, manipulate people into doing stupid, violent shit. And if they weren't there, this wouldn't have happened. And that is what people are realizing. And we know this because there's still unindicted co-conspirators that did really awful, violent things, are still unindicted, no charges, nothing, because they're feds. And I think Enrique Tarrio is getting like a very light sentencing for having illegal ammo in DC because he's a fed, he'll get off. And on top of this, to me, what's a bigger story that blew up yesterday is our info warrior, Owen Shroyer, who is pretty much the second most popular host on InfoWars. Alex Jones, course number one.
Wasn't he the one that bitched out the cuck professor at Penn State?
Yep, that's Owen. That's our boy Owen. I've met him. I shouldn't say that because the FBI will investigate me now, but I've met him. Very nice, cool guy, very smart, very talented. He is now been informed that there's a warrant out for his arrest. He has to turn himself in by Monday, and he will be charged with 4 misdemeanors for being at the Capitol on January 6th. So what did he do? Did he go inside the Capitol? Did he fight with police? No. He went there as a reporter, reported on it, stood on some steps, and tried to de-escalate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's bullshit. They're fucking silencing like actual journalists. But you know, they claim these people aren't real journalists too. Like that pisses me off. They're doing more real shit than your fucking Don Lemon and all this other fake news media people.
Yeah, they were one of the first ones to say that January 6th had federal provocateurs there. They were one of the first ones, even before Revolver, because they found Jaden X, who is a guy who's been at Black Lives Matter and Antifa stuff, and is now a Trump supporter all suddenly, and just happens to be inside the Capitol, and just happens to be in front of all these things, and has no charges, and gives his footage to CNN, and they buy it. So they think he's a Fed. I think so too. The one thing with Owen that's interesting, though, that adds to this, and you're saying, well, what were they getting him on? Because there's got to be something. I don't know if you guys remember, but back in 2019, he disrupted a congressional hearing, and I forget if he was like yelling about tech censorship against conservatives, or how the Democrats were globalists, or whatever. I forget what he exactly said, but he basically just stood up in one of those hearings and just started shouting shit. Peaceful, disruptive, yes, but peaceful. And the cops, they took him out, and he basically had to sign a paper where they said, we're not going to prosecute you, we're not going to arrest you, but if you ever come to the Capitol again and you're violent and you're disruptive, then we are going to prosecute you, blah, blah, blah. So that is what they're trying to get him on. And they're also claiming the FBI report on him, which is ironic because they show screenshots from a video where it says Alex Jones tries to stop Capitol riots. And they're saying that he basically provoked them. They're literally saying that with the video saying that Alex, and implying him too, tried to stop it. But they also say in the FBI report that with his little disruption in 2019 during the congressional hearing, he had like 32 hours of community service that he had to do. And they said he didn't do it. Alex just today was saying, no, he did it. It's done. They're saying they're straight up lying, or there's some sort of technicality or something where they're saying he didn't do community service that he did. It's insane.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit. We all knew it was gonna be bullshit too.
Yeah, I think legally, I don't think they'll. I mean, they're stretching it to about as far as they're gonna stretch it.
Yeah.
But
does he get out of it?
They'll get good lawyers will destroy. Good lawyers will destroy that shit.
I don't know. I think he's gonna be some sort of sacrificial lamb. They're gonna try it. They're gonna go and tell the jury, like, oh, like, look at this guy. He's part of the alt-right, like, InfoWars fucking website.
Fake news website.
Yeah. And most likely the jury's gonna be biased because it's gonna be in D.C. And they'll say for the, I've no doubt that they're gonna lie about, like, having any knowledge of this person. Because, they'll say InfoWars and everyone knows what that is. What, like, a lot of people, they've heard of it before.
Even normies know.
It's usually in a negative context.
Yeah. But they know. Yeah, it's scary what's happening. Very, very scary. And look at what's the date? It's fucking August 21st. And they're still nabbing people for January 6th. And he's a prominent public figure. How did they come up with this now? Apparently some anonymous tip got him, and Milo claims it was actually Enrique Tarrio, the Proud Boys leader, who's now, we've learned, is an FBI informant. He thinks he's the one that's behind it. He says, you're not going to believe me, but it's true.
I mean...
It's possible.
It's possible, but I don't know. I like to see a little more evidence before throwing, before saying that.
Oh, yeah.
I think very likely they probably have funding from all sorts of, like, left-wing groups to just go over every single bit of media related to January 6th, and they're probably, like, paying these, like, artists money to go and like review this footage with a fine-tooth comb, to go and see anything that could potentially be illegal.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. I mean, it's freaking August, almost September, and they are going to throw a reporter in jail for peacefully standing at the Capitol, reporting on events, and trying to de-escalate it, trying to save lives. And he probably did save lives, because they got thousands of people to turn away and not go inside the Capitol. And Alex was saying, like, he still gets people today, fans that call in or talk to him to say, Alex, thank God you told us not to go into the Capitol. You saved our lives. So it's so scary. And he's going to be flooded with insanely expensive legal fees. I don't know if they're going to keep him in jail till his sentencing. I would think probably not, because I don't see how you could see him as a violent threat at all.
They'll probably find a way to go and make it that way.
They might, but there have been people that, like Baked Alaska and Nick Oakes, who are in these sort of circles that didn't get held till sentencing. But it could happen. I don't know, man, but it's scary. And you could tell when he was reading this announcement on air, like, he was shaking. I feel bad for him. So, defendowen.com is where he's raising money for legal defense.
All right. On a side note, that's four title changes, and we still got two more to go yet for SummerSlam, and look, Edge, one of the wrestlers, just entered the ring with one of my childhood fucking favorite entrances. It was like real cool. Like it rolled back to like the Brood days.
Nostalgia
where they had
activated.
it was just very cool, very cool. Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
No, that's good. I pretty much saw all I had to say about Owen. I just feel bad for him. Like, I really feel bad. Probably gonna buy an InfoWars shirt or something.
I think he'll be fine. I do, because I think that there's gonna be I think because he is a journalist, there's a good chance this thing's gonna get through. This thing's gonna get tossed, and
I hope so.
I mean, I really don't see it turning into a kangaroo court. I think they tried him because they needed to try people for optics, but I don't think like a court of an actual. I don't see it being a kangaroo court like some of the others.
Mm-hmm. Well, the other strategy could be too, because they've done this to Alex himself before, is they're just trying to bankrupt him, because that's what they did to Alex Jones with Sandy Hook. They pulled something from years ago that he'd already changed his mind on. First said might not didn't happen, and now he says, oh, it did happen. I got scammed by 8chan, and they pull it out to bankrupt him, and they cost him a lot of money, legal fees. He had to pay hundreds of thousands in settlement. And they're going to do the same to Owen, I think. I think it's just to bankrupt him. I really think that's probably the goal here, is to scare people and to bankrupt InfoWars.
To be fair, you need to be careful when using any of the chans as a source. Like,
I know. Alex learned his lesson. He learned his lesson.
Well, I think that was part that was part strategy on Alex Jones's part. I'm not sure that's true or untrue, but I think that was part of Alex Jones's thing to reach as early of a settlement as you can, like to just because the longer you drag it out, the more money it's going to end up costing you.
Yeah.
So, what happened? I got kicked out.
I got kicked out too. We start talking about the feds and we get kicked out of Halo.
I know. We said January 6th, Microsoft's listening.
Yeah. No, they are.
Yeah,
oh my God, dude. It's just, I don't want to get doomer for a second, but I do want to say, is it me, or are you guys getting in a state of mind where it's not necessarily, you're not like, so there's red pill, okay, where you learn the uncomfortable truths, but it feels like there's something beyond that. There's obviously black pilled, where you get more doomer and you think there's no hope, and I get why people feel that. There's white pilled, where you do see hope. But I feel like there's like a, I don't know what I'd call it, gray pill, a deep red pill, but it feels like there's like another layer that gets peeled back. Like when you think you know the uncomfortable truth and then you find out there's even worse and you start to go a little crazy. You know what I mean?
The red pill's like an onion, you know, it has layers.
Okay, donkey.
It's one of those pharmaceuticals that changes at half-life.
Yeah. Oh, half-life.
Like, you know, like, but there is, you know, it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to go and see the bad. There's always like deeper shit.
But what I'm saying is you're not necessarily discouraged. You're just more shook and going a little crazy when you just see how much crazy shit's going on. Like, I've started to feel that a little recently. I know Alex Jones has talked about that and Joe Rogan. Like, you go a little crazy after knowing the FBI stages false flags that have killed people. When you learn that the FBI or the CIA let 9/11 happen, or you learn that Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon and a bunch of our famous people go to California once a year and dress up as wizards and then they like do ceremonies around a fucking owl. Like, you learn some shit. It just like takes you to another level where you're like, holy shit. Or that the FBI spied on a presidential candidate's campaign, Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, I mean, it all builds on itself. You know, you're never done learning, and that's with everything in life. You know, things aren't always what they seem, and you know the real truth, the true truth. You know, there's three sides of the story. You know, there's my side, your side, the truth. That last side is very seldom ever like fully seen in the real world. You know, you very seldom see the truth, like the true truth. There's probably like four sides. There's like what we, you know, the general consensus, and there's like the actual truth. Like we very rarely see the true actual truth of events because we don't have the context and most people will never know.
Yeah, you
like,
just don't have all the information.
There's stuff which we can't know. We straight up can't know certain things because the people who know them are, you know, just so far disconnected with everything. You know, you might think you know what's going on, but like there's stuff and context which you can't even begin to fathom. And there's these groups out over there, you know, and they're very silent and they're very insular.
Like the Masons.
Yeah, well, like some of these federal agencies, I'm pretty sure like that too. Like they probably have some deep knowledge, and there's probably even like secret societies within these federal agencies, like the super deep knowledge. You know, you start getting to like conspiracy theory territory, and that's like part of it. You know, I think conspiracy theories, they're part of it, but they tend not to be the true end goal, the end all be all of the truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just something I've been noticing is that, I mean, just think of where we were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, like 2015. What did we used to think that Republicans good, Democrats bad. We used to think cops good, FBI good, you know, government incompetent, maybe do some shady shit. But fast forward post Trump, and it's like all that's been inverted.
We're in a post consensus reality now. You know, like back in time, you know, back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, you know, minus a few groups, there was a generalized sort of consensus of how the world worked.
You know why that is?
Because they had full control over the media. Now that they don't have full control, they have to go and invent these sort of things like conspiracy theories, like, hey, everything you're talking about is fake news, and they use these terms to go and gaslight people into not performing critical thinking.
Well, there was a single controlled source of information. Now there is like some level of control, but there are multiple, like infinite sources of information. We went from one controlled source of information to infinite source of information.
And a bunch of sources of true information, and then there's a ton of sources of false information as well too. And so it is like there is a difficulty now, like where you don't know if this is a true source.
Mm-hmm.
Like back in the day, you read encyclopedia and you assume it's true. Like nowadays, you know, you see Wikipedia and you know it's probably going to be false. And that's why, like, a lot of boomers and stuff, they get confused with technology. Like, why would people lie on the internet? You know, why do people lie in this encyclopedia? Well, it's because it's made by random people and they find to fuck with people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think it's like, just thinking about that and stepping back for a second, I think that we now, like, on the right at least, like, I'll just say half the country believes the FBI is evil, believes the FBI stages terrorist attacks, believes the CIA.
They've always done it.
But we never always knew.
Well, I think well, obviously tech has had a lot to do with that too. Like there's a newfound access to the truth, really. Like if you're willing to look for it, there's newfound accesses to the truth where they weren't there
before
decades ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they weren't there before. So it's like, well, in a panic, like you got these government organizations that are having to go more authoritative because, like, well, what do we do? They know we're bullshitting. Like, so now it's just like, well, they can't do shit to us, so we might as well just go a full authoritative. Like I think they're stepping up the authoritative each and every time, and I'm concerned that it's gonna go even further. Like, and it's like, well, what's gonna stop them from going full authoritarian?
Well, it's not just that; it's also the corporate tyranny. They're corporate brothers that they, you know, there used to be. I mean, there was always ties between megacorps and government, but the authoritarianism on big corporations is, to me, the bigger thing that's happening. Like the government, I'm trying to find a simpler way to phrase this, but the fact, because that's where, going back with information and on the internet, that's the bigger picture here, is that because the internet is opening people's eyes up because of all this new information, they are working in lockstep, the government with corporations, to control that, to stop that.
We're also starting to see how corrupt these politicians are too, like growing. Like I know for years that everybody's always thought that they were kind of corrupt or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see it in levels that we never thought really even existed. So like it's like, wow. Like the more we start looking at it, the more evil we're finding them to be. Like you were saying something, Alex?
Well, no, and I think there always, like, you know, there always were people out there who did believe in these sort of, you know, conspiracy theories.
Right.
But not as much as
they were atomized individuals. Like, they were your Dale Gribbles of the world.
Yeah.
But now, because of the internet, they can link together and they can go and talk about things.
You know, look at UFO people. Remember, UFOs used to be this conspiracy forever. Those people used to be wing nuts.
Yeah.
Now the government's admitting UFOs are fucking real. You know, not necessarily aliens, but UFOs as a concept are real.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're starting to find, like Alex was saying before. It was like, oh, there's a couple of tinfoil hatters that were like spouting shit from random places. And, you know, weird basements or whatever. Come to find out, some of the stuff that they say, if not all of it, is actually fucking true. Like, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying, is that we're reaching that level where the conspiracy theorists, quote unquote, are more right than the mainstream journalists.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And it's not like anything I'm saying isn't true. I'm talking about things that have been proven to be true. Yeah. I mean, look at Gulf of Tonkin. That's a good example of something that universally everybody believed, the main sort of Gulf of Tonkin. That looks like the Vietnamese were attacking an American ship and we fought back and boom, Vietnam War. It was a false flag. Never happened. Vietnam never attacked us.
Well, like, just think about it. Like, the term false flag has gained...
It's mainstream.
Is entered into the common, you know, vocabulary of people.
Never was before. I remember like literally 5 years ago, I must have first heard about the term to like stuff we'd look at. Alex Jones, never heard before. It's craziness, just absolute craziness. But yeah, false flag is now like we use that term all the time. Think of how much we use it. It'd be fun. We go back to our old shows and look at how much we said, how many times we said false flag compared to now. I bet we rarely said it initially, and it was like 2017 when we started.
Probably mention it, but like
I'm saying we mention it, but not as much as we do now. It's like every show we say false flag.
We also say grift a lot more.
That's a new one. Well, because that was kind of a term that, and people started to see that more too. Is like, remember how you used to think all these people on TV were, oh, they say the things I say, I like them. Now you're kind of like, okay, they say the things I say, but why? Are they in it for the money? Are they just chasing clout? Well, what's their deal? Like, you get more and more suspicious.
Well, yeah, there's a lack of trust of, you know, the media, which is, you know, a good thing in my opinion, but, you know, it's just something different. Because, like, back in the day, you didn't think people would just say lies on the media. Like, you'd expect that from, like, the internet, like, French websites, at least after the internet came out, you know? But, like...
Yeah, oh, and look, half the country almost thinks an election was stolen. They didn't have that before. I mean,
yeah.
Some people kind of thought that with Bush v. Gore, and that was just with one state over. Some people thought it with 2016 a little bit, but not like 2020.
I firmly believe, I'm gonna stick to my guns, that I think the establishment class, both Republicans and Democrats, use these shady ass voting systems to maintain power. I look at Mitch McConnell. I don't know how the fuck he kept power. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry.
He's a soulless, like, creepy turtle.
Boomer. To be fair, there's a lot of boomers out there.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like the person he was going up against wasn't. I mean, obviously he's leftist by our standards, but like wasn't as leftist as some of these other like squatters or whatever, and outraised Mitch McConnell by a fucking shit heap. And still Mitch McConnell blew her out of the water apparently.
Wow.
Like I don't.
There's a lot of people who just vote for someone because, you know, there's an R or a D by their name. They don't actually look into them, which, you know, to be fair,
but I mean, but you expect, even so, you expect it to be a little closer than the race was.
Yeah.
Like this was, I mean, that Mitch McConnell race, that was a total butt fucking blowout. Like it was just like, who like it wasn't even like we're done by 7 o'clock. Time to go home. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, they only count one count and it's over.
Yeah.
Well, no, I get what you mean. Is like you would have expected more of a fight, like, or a closer result, or they wouldn't have called it till the morning. But no, it's just done and over. I know what you mean, and I know what you mean too, Alex. Where there's a lot of people, they just default vote for the person that they've always voted for. But
yeah, Travis Sharon was saying, even 30% of the Dems think it was stolen. For sure, it isn't Dems versus Republicans. It's a uniparty. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's an establishment party. It is an establishment party that's like working against each other, or pretending to work against each other to get you to donate and to take as much power from you as they possibly fucking can.
Yeah.
Like.
Yep. And that's one thing I'll say. Everybody, and I know people have done this, but stop donating to the RNC. Stop donating to the DNC. I personally will never donate to any of them ever. If you truly believe in a candidate, donate to them directly. Never give money to the RNC or DNC because they will use it for whatever the hell they want. It's not going towards to fight to stop this deal or to fight for gun control and abortion rights. No, they just use it whatever the hell they want. And it can be some like really fucked up shit. Like look at Wounded Warriors. They got money and used it for lavish parties and vacations and bullshit. not for veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm always very careful of who I give my money to. Very, very careful.
Yeah,
I've only
you gotta
given it
do
to
your
2
homework.
candidates.
By the way, do your even with whatever you do, like whatever, even if you don't, like if you're like, oh, I want to donate to not NGO, right? Want to donate, do your research. Okay. By the way, Charity Navigator, that's a great one because they basically they have the information, they have background information on each organization. That's how I found out, because I looked up the national chapter for Planned Parenthood, and I saw that I think three of the top people in the national chapter were making over $1 million a year.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So do your homework. Like, make sure you are when you give your money somewhere, do your research and make sure that the money that you're giving is actually going toward whatever it is you're giving toward. So.
And by the way, thanks for tuning in, Travis, because I know last week he promised he'd tune in again. So thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. So
definitely.
Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do to help us out.
Do we still have the Discord link out?
Yes, we do. We have the Discord link in the description, Travis. So if you want to join in on us, we'd be more than welcome to have you join with us, and you can talk with us, shoot the shit, ask questions, whatever you want to do. I'm more than happy to have you. So just join the Discord in the description below.
He's saying stop donating to the NRA, GOA all the way. Which look, to be fair,
now.
Yeah. So to be fair, look, I'm guilty. Okay, I'm a life member, but that I joined like when it was still somewhat legit, right?
Yeah.
I was back so. And I got a veteran discount on it too. So.
I think, the thing with the NRA that I've noticed, like all these gun clubs require you to join it because that's where they get their insurance from, and they won't give you the discount rate unless all your members are NRA members.
But I will say, even though I was an NRA lifetime member, or I still am, the very first CFC campaign, by the way, CFC is Combined Federal Campaign. That's like if you work for a government, like if you work for the government or whatever, they get they campaign one time a year for you to donate to whatever is on the list or whatever, of the list of Combined Federal Campaign donations or whatever. So, which is good because if you're on that list, you basically verify that all that money is going toward that organization where there's no middlemen.
That's good.
Or anything like that. But anyway, my first and only donation was to Gun Owners of America. That's and every year when I was in, I donated to Gun Owners of America. So that's
I will say the NRA.
Story.
I mean, I don't blame you for any of that. I think the NRA has really fallen from their former glory because it sounds like they've become more of a scam where they, like Wounded Warriors, are wasting people's money on bullshit.
The issue is Wayne LaPierre is this unelected lifetime person because he's the vice president. That's the issue. If they could get him out of there,
And it sounds like they're not, from what I've heard from gun people and what I've seen, they don't. And look, to be fair, they do fight for a lot of gun rights, but they don't fight as much as they should. I personally think this is just my personal way, GOA is a little too hardline for my taste, but I think they're important to have because you do need a middle, a moderate, and a extreme part of your coalition, I guess you could say. You have your NRA, which is more moderate, and then you have your GOA, which is more extreme. I think you need both of them.
Well, yeah, and I can see that too, but my issue is just the grifting that's been going on with one particular member with fucking Wayne.
I don't think it's just Wayne, honestly. I bet he's got a whole group of buddies that are bad too.
Yeah, that's probably the case, but he's the
big problem. I agree. Gotta get him out.
He needs to go, but I don't know if that's gonna be able to happen.
I honestly don't think it will happen till he's dead.
Like, well, that or
By
there's
old
some
age. I don't mean actually kill him, but you know what I
Well,
mean.
no, I think there could be some sort of lawsuit.
Oh yeah, the
'Cause
one
I
in
know
New York.
they are getting sued,
Yeah.
and that might be what ends up getting rid of them.
That's true. I almost forgot about that. I
Well,
thought about
well,
that.
they moved to Texas for that because I think they moved away from New York because that attorney general is fucking evil. But anyway,
Yeah.
no, but yeah, he was saying they compromise on issues, and I just believe in a no compromise position. I agree. Like if you give money, if
disagree.
you're giving money to an organization, now if you have political offices, you kind of expect a little bit of, moderacy, maybe a little bit of concessions or anything like that. But if you're giving money to an organization for them not to you're paying them to stand up for what you believe in, right? You're not no, I don't want you compromising. If I'm giving you my fucking money, right? And most of these people, it's their hard-earned fucking money, right? Most of these people are blue-collar people that are donating. You don't want them compromising on shit, right?
Yeah, because that's what's gonna happen anyways. Like the other side will end up. That's what will end up happening is compromises will happen with elected officials. Don't want the organization to compromise because that's what happens at the end anyways.
I guess it's just my pragmatic side keeps saying, like, I get where you guys are coming from, but you have to compromise to get any progress.
Do you think that Planned Parenthood compromises?
No.
No.
I don't know.
They fight. Do you think that the ACLU compromises with the left-leaning shit? No.
No.
They don't compromise.
But there's a difference between these organizations.
Well, they compromise when it comes to China, but that's
well, when you're a part of these leftist organizations, you can get away with more things than a right-wing organization.
We need the right to start doing that, and that's what
I agree. And that's what I'm saying is the problem is it's not a level playing field. Like when you have the media and the judges and all these elected officials bought and paid for on your side, you can get away with more things than someone who isn't, or an organization that isn't. So
well, that's why we need to go and have more organizations that do shit like that.
Oh yeah, and that's why I'm fine with GOA. I think it's good that they exist. I just think this no compromise ideology is very impractical, because in the real world you don't get anywhere without compromising.
Well, yeah, but that's not they aren't the politician. Like they're not supposed to be the politicians. They're that you don't want the organization to compromise, and the politicians to compromise even more. That's the problem. Just the way that it works, it's like a human centipede. These people are the first part, and the politicians like the one behind it that ends up like consuming the shit. They're gonna end up being they're gonna compromise.
Well, let me phrase it this way: as long as they keep their core principles, and like let's say they're in some sort of, they're gonna make a deal where they'll get one of their core principles, but the other side wins a little something. To me, that's a perfectly fine compromise. And if you don't take that deal, you're honestly stupid because you're not getting what you want.
The NRA is the one that makes those deals. That's the politician.
Yeah. You gotta be careful with that shit too, because then you run the risk of losing your most loyal supporters. Look at the squad. Look at the squad, right?
What compromise has ever been made pro gun rights? What has ever been made to grant more gun rights? Ever?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. That's the problem with the NRA is that they go too far, and they're not compromising; they're losing. There's a big difference, because when you compromise, basically in a true compromise, it's a win-win, or at least everybody's getting something, even if one side's getting more. I should say.
Look at the bump stock ban. What did we gain from that from a gun right?
No, nothing. I know, and that's what I'm saying. Is the problem they're not compromising. They're just giving up. They're just losing. They're not compromising. That's actually their problem.
They're trying to appease people that just can't fucking be appeased, that don't have no interest in being appeased. It's
Well,
yeah,
they're operating backwards. They're thinking, well, if we give them something, then we'll get something. No, that's backwards.
no.
You know, you don't close the deal and be like, okay, now give me what I want. And that's what I'm saying. The NRA is doing it the wrong way. Is that they should be going, we want campus carry, let's say, nationwide campus carry. There's a big battle, and the left goes, well, we'll give you campus carry if you give us this thing. Okay, good. That's how they should be doing it, but they don't. They go into defense. They don't go on the offense. They go.
They do try to go on the offense, like sometimes, because I've seen a lot more like places with the universal carry, but that's not on the federal level. There's not been any federal pro-gun stuff since like the 80s, and even that was an actual compromise, and I think that was a bad one too.
Yeah.
That was like with the what was that, Firearm Owners Protection Act, which ended up banning newly registered machine guns.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying is like they're operating just by, they're not gaining any ground with whatever they do. They're always losing ground, and that's why I'm saying the NRA is really fucking up. But you know, the one thing they do I know that is pretty good is they are always involved with these court cases over gun violations, all kinds of crap like that. And they do gun safety training. And, you know, they do still some good stuff, so they have a level of effectiveness. But on this big stuff, where you could actually gain gun rights, they just don't do anything. And that's why I laugh when the left is like, oh, the NRA is the biggest, most evil, most well-funded lobbyist group. We need to get rid of them. What do they get?
Travis Sharon says Arizona has a zero compromise group, and that's why we got constitutional carry in Arizona. That is true. Now, if only you could get rid of that.
Why they got it?
Now, if only you could get rid of that fucking cuck of a governor you got, then we'll be fine.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, you got your universal carry, but you now got a blue state apparently, if you believe the election results. I mean, I don't think that's why those things happen. Is no compromise, because when we have no compromises in Congress, it's gridlock.
They're well, and maybe gridlock's not as bad with certain things. Maybe that
I do agree. Yeah, with certain things, it is like actually not that bad.
Very few things. Like honestly, like how much of the shit should actually be done in Congress? Like in most scenarios, we really don't need more laws being passed.
Yeah, well,
except for when there's shit like coronavirus and national emergencies, okay, and that's the way it was set up by the founders. It was not meant to be efficient.
I know, yeah. Well, that's why some stuff.
Constitution. Speaking of Constitution, here. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's fine.
So the OnlyFans thing, right?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's go.
So the OnlyFans thing. So obviously, for people who didn't live under a rock for the last week, OnlyFans is stopping the sexually explicit content from going on their site, which I was like, so when I heard the news, I was like, okay, well, I guess they're trying to clean up or whatever, but so I had to look at it, right?
Yeah,
so
there's more to the story.
I looked at, so I was looking at it, I was reading it up, and it was because they got pressured by the banking institutions and the payment process.
Yep.
So that's why
free market,
they were pressured.
Am I right?
So why is this cause for concern? Well, the payment processors have been going after a whole lot of quote unquote right wingers. They've been going after a lot of them, right? Now they're going after the sexually explicit content on the OnlyFans, and so this is because Alex Jones was always like, when he was getting censored and all that shit, he's like, it's not going to stop with me. And he's totally right. And it's like, yeah, okay, so and then all I do is I see conservatives. I see conservatives on Twitter, or people claim that they're conservative, that they're like, oh, this is great, whatever. They're kind of happy, but I'm like, okay. And this is the same thing with the free speech. Look, I don't like what they I don't necessarily like what they do, but I don't like the payment processors determine what you can and can't do.
Yeah.
Right?
Here's my thing. OnlyFans already has a non-sexually explicit version of itself, so it's basically cannibalizing itself.
Pretty much. And that's like, and if you're claimed to be a constitutionalist and you're for this sort of censoring or this sort of sandbagging by these payment processors, you're not really for the Constitution, because I'm sure, because it really does kind of, push toward constitutionality here, because there's a lot of, I believe that banking institutions and payment processors should also be deemed utilities, much like social media. I think that they should be deemed a utility, and you can't discriminate at all.
I agree.
There should be no regulations to, one way or the other. They should be universally reduced to enforcing one standard and one standard only. Now, if it's criminal, so if it's criminal, then that's one thing. But you already have a process, and we've already had processes in place for that. Like if you're doing criminal activity, you're supposed to be reporting it to law enforcement anyway. Yeah. But this idea that it's scary shit. Like, it's like these payment processors. He's like, I didn't know about the payment process, Travis Sharon. Yeah. See, this is what they don't fucking tell you on Twitter, right? Yeah. They're like, they only show this one line, and they don't tell you why. This is and this is what they prey on. They're preying on people like you because you're working, you have a life. They're preying. You're a busy person, so they're preying on you that you won't do your research because you're so busy that you'll just fall with whatever MSNBC tells you, what CNN tells you, even what Fox News. Like, half of Fox News is bullshit too. Like, I hate Fox. So the only way to get true shit is either looking it up on your own, or listening to our show.
I was gonna say that. Yes.
Yeah. So, shameless plug. Yes.
Yes. Go off, King.
But this is like people think that I've seen people think that it's not that serious, and at me, I'm looking at this thing like, how is it not?
And by the way, Travis, you're 100% right. This is about Planned Parenthood. If Planned Parenthood starts with a huge ass, then compromises get what they really want. That is the art of the deal.
But they're not the ones that do. That's the people who do shit like that. It's not Planned Parenthood. It's the politicians.
Yeah, but Planned Parenthood's a part of that deal making, or that deal making process. Like, they know what they're doing.
They are pro Planned Parenthood. They believe in their beliefs. They're not the ones negotiating. That's the politicians who do. And like the NRA, like, they give ratings based on how pro Second Amendment you are. So they'll unless you're a super cuck, you'll still get a rating on there, even if you compromise.
Yeah.
I mean, even the bad ones get a rating. It's just an F.
Well, but I wanted to bring it up because that is how deal making is usually done. That's the art of the deal. It's a Trump way. That's the smart way. That's how you do it.
But that's not what the NRA does. That is.
I know, that's their problem. That's their problem. I totally agree.
But none of them will be able to do it because they don't have politicians who are 100% them. They have politicians who are supported by them, but so does every other fucking interest group, and they probably have multiple interest groups targeting a specific politician.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say he has a request for us, but before we get into that, finish your thought, Alex, and I have something about OnlyFans.
Oh no, I was gonna go back to the OnlyFans. I was gonna
Oh,
say
good.
with that, there's actually a benefit to them being banned with this new the nudity because Mike Owen
That's not what they're banning. That's what I was gonna mention.
well, the sexual content, whatever you want to call it.
No, there's a big importance here because even OnlyFans is talking. I just looked it up now. OnlyFans, this is what the headlines aren't telling you too. They're banning sexually explicit content, but they specifically say that nudity will be allowed.
Well, okay, well, how the fuck do you have, like, I guess artsy nudity? But no, what I was gonna say is it would convince those thoughts to get, like, get on the page with, like, free markets and crypto, because
Yes.
crypto's the way, they don't have to worry about data processors if they use crypto.
There are already alternative sites now as it is. Like there's like a couple of them, and they've already and some of them are actually cheaper because like OnlyFans, I was looking up. OnlyFans takes like a 20% cut.
Whoa.
On like so. Yeah.
So it sounds like to me that if you're doing any male to female, male to male, female to female time, you can't do that, but you can be naked.
They have sex on there. I don't think that's a common thing. I think it is mostly just cam whores.
But they did allow sexual content.
Yeah.
So
But
now
how
it's just
they
a
did.
nude site.
They did because yeah.
And I'm saying it's important because my initial thought was, oh, they're just like literally nuking their audience. They're nuking their customers. Like, what are they doing?
They still are. They're gonna fuck themselves in the end because of this.
I actually don't think so.
I think they are.
Dude,
They could, but
AVN has one. AVN. I was looking up alternatives. AVN, like as in the AVN awards, right?
yeah.
The porn awards. They have an OnlyFans site, and that's probably where my friend gives all his money to. Anyway,
No, but see, the benefit of this is like the crypto will become a way more mainstream. Like it's like what happened with VHS and Betamax. The reason that VHS won was because Betamax didn't like porno on it, and VHS. This could get crypto into the common usage, which will go and completely cut payment processors. Because why use PayPal when you can just just trade Bitcoin instead? And it's better for conservatives too, because they're the ones who get fucked over the most by these payment processors.
Yeah, Laura Loomer can't get an Uber, use PayPal. Alex Jones has gotten like 3 of his credit cards shut down.
Mm-hmm.
It's real, and it's happening to more people. But the other thing with this though is, okay, OnlyFans might survive, might not. If a new competitor comes along that allows pornographic content, sexually explicit content, will the people that are already on OnlyFans, like, I don't know if Belle Delphine's still on there because she made the porn jump, but if those people are still on OnlyFans that are these big names, are they going to make the move to the alternative?
Potentially.
It's possible. That's why I say it depends what alternatives come up, what they're offering, how much they're cutting out of their donations. Because if a compelling alternative does come up, I think it will kill OnlyFans. But there might not be one. I think there's, because with these payment processors putting pressure on, they would do the same pressure on alternative. And that's what I'm saying. It's not really clear if OnlyFans is going to lose from this. They might be doing this so they can survive.
Crypto, I think, will end up being what the what they use instead of payment processors. Just trading Bitcoin instead.
Maybe.
Because why not? What's there to lose by doing that? Like, if you really want to access porno, that's how you'll do it.
I think they would have to go to a crypto only model though.
So how do you keep? So here's the thing: how do you keep the government from
regulating
intervening?
Crypto? Yep, that's gonna be the next step. Yep, I totally agree. You can't stop them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the inevitable problem with crypto in general. Like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I am very pro crypto. I am just, every day goes by, I feel like we're closer and closer to the government fucking it up.
What you need to do is have a VPN wallet. That's what you need to do. Where you have like a wallet that has like crypto or something else that you can't, like, that the government can't identify because it's a like it's through like a VPN network kind of thing.
I think you need a Tor actually, because something I've learned about VPNs is they sound good.
I'm saying like it. No, I'm not.
Depends on where your VPN's hosted out of.
Right. I'm saying like. I'm not saying like VPN exactly,
okay.
but I'm saying something that blocks the government or blocks outside people from figuring out that wallet is in fact you or whatever.
I get you now.
There needs to be something like that.
Yeah.
That can counter. See, now somebody's gonna steal my idea.
Well, no, they probably already have something like that. Like I bet that probably exists, and it depends on the cryptocurrency too, because something like Bitcoin is terrible because there's that, you know, it'll tell you who did it. And if they ever did find you, they'd find all your transactions. But like Ethereum, from what I understand, like all like that's like encrypted or something.
Yeah.
So that's what they did with Nick over the Stop the Steal protests. Is they founded some like French dude gave him like $500,000 in Bitcoin. Something like that.
What they try to get him with, though?
Well, they haven't tried to get him with anything yet, but I think the FBI found out about it or something, and that's why he's under investigation or something like that. There's a story about it. I forget the details, but basically it proves your point that it can be found, and I don't want to say it's easy because it's not, but it can be, so it's not that hard. But that's something I don't know if you know a lot about this, Alex, but I mean, I'm used to millennials saying like all the time. That's why I didn't realize what you were saying quite there.
Shit, Bill Goldberg's wrestling.
Who's that?
Oh my God! Yeah, he's old like guy. He was popular, pro wrestler, super popular in the '90s.
Bringing the old school guys back.
Fucking like, I think he had like an undefeated streak of like 100-something-0 or something like that.
Damn.
Like just was a mauler. Just was an absolute mauler. He'd fill up he was in WCW, filled up crowds. They'd have their Goldberg chants and all that shit. Like, yeah, see, Travis knows what I'm talking about.
Nice.
Like, so yeah. But yeah, I guess, you know, he's just doing he shows up because he's so old. Like he every now and again he'll pop up like for a match or whatever. I think he did one in Saudi Arabia. He did one in I think I want to say WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, one of those two. So he's got to pick and choose his stuff because he's getting up there in age, kind of like the Undertaker. Like the Undertaker, like once he got there up there in age, it was like. Well, I can only do like 1 or 2 of these matches a year, and then, you know, because the body isn't clearly the body isn't the same. Your risk for injury is higher. Your tolerance for pain and injury, like knocks and stuff, it's a lot. You know, your tolerance is a lot lower, and so I don't know, but yeah, again, SummerSlam. One of the main ones, right? So
sounds like a sex party. Like on a boat, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
It sounds like some Wolf of Wall Street shit. I'll come to my SummerSlam on my yacht right off of LA.
Those are the tickets. Those are the tickets, though, that sell in like a fucking day. Like, yeah, there's just like the tickets go on sale at like 9 and then they're gone by 1.
Wow.
Like, it's just like, it's incredible. It's incredible. And even this last WrestleMania, which was like a 2-day event, that fucker sold out in like a day. Two events. Same stadium, 2 days, both days sold out. Like,
I beat you, Alex. For once.
Incredible.
I will address your request, what's his name, Travis, in a second, but I want to ask you, Alex, real quick. I was listening to a channel that's like a privacy channel. They have quite a few 100,000 subs, and they seem to have pretty legit information, but apparently they were saying with VPNs that they don't actually mask your location. Do you know if that's true?
Well, the problem with the VPN is if it's based out of like a Five Eyes country, they could just get the fucking they can just get a court order to go and reveal who was on there.
I've heard that, and I've known about Tor, but I heard that Tor is the only thing that actually keeps you anonymous and private.
Well, Tor uses like you'll go through like 7 different VPNs.
Yes, all over the world.
Like the more VPNs you use, the slower your shit's gonna be, but the more secure it's gonna be. Because like what could happen is like let's say someone's doing a packet capture on one of those VPNs. You know, a VPN itself isn't great because like if you don't know where who the fuck this VPN is, which is why I'd stay away from. Like it could actually be worse than just using your own internet because then they'd have access to your traffic unencrypted.
Well, I was using the Brave browser, which you can activate Tor very easily in that, and I did notice that because I heard him in the video say that yeah, Tor does all these great things, but it makes it really slow. And oh my god, it feels like dial up.
Yeah, because you're going through like 7 different. It's a free VPN that had like it's the only free VPN that I would trust, but you're going through like 7 different free VPNs, so it's not gonna be fast.
Yeah. Well, Travis has a request for us, so we need to do some community service here, gentlemen. He is asking what no, not his OnlyFans committing suicide. Where is I lost track of it. He said I'm speaking
the most fucked up thing, so like Kelly themselves on OnlyFans.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. That's something that Catboy Cammy guy would say he'll do. And then he does something like retarded, like I don't know. Has like a doll do it. That's a very offensive doll, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, dude, that reminds me like that Chris Chan thing where they start calling up his house and said that Chris was trying to kill himself on YouTube. And Gama was like, I was jacking off on there. That was funny as shit. But what were you saying?
Well, actually, you did remind me of something. Do you remember that speedrunner guy that committed suicide? He did some really creepy, like I've actually seen it. He uploaded this video. I think it was on YouTube and got pulled, but it later got uploaded to Twitter, where he uploaded his last ever video before he like killed himself. It was like really dark. Man, it like haunts me to this day seeing that. But Travis, back to something more not spooky. Travis has a request for us. He says in chat, I'm speaking against critical consciousness. I guess he means critical race theory.
Well, it's critical theory in general, I think. That's a whole...
Yeah.
Oh god, critical conscious. That sounds so pretentious. It sounds straight out of academia. In the school district I live in, any advice? Exactly. Okay, yeah. So he's asking for advice on speaking about critical conscious. And my advice initially would be is go to Lotus Eaters on YouTube and look up critical race theory. Sargon does a video where he talks about the origins of it, and he goes right from the text, right from the textbook it all comes from. Start there, because you want to go from read exactly what these people are saying. Don't read some news source. Just go right to the source. Like, look, this is what they're saying. And it basically says that this country is founded on white supremacy, so it's still a white supremacist nation, and we need to destroy it. They literally say it. Just read it. Read it in front of the school board.
It's not even just for, like, if you're going to talk about critical theory in general, it's not just race. They go into, like, feminist bullshit, feminist theory. It's all the same sort of scam. It's the same grift.
It's a grift.
Dude, it fucking is. Like
you're obsessed with scams and grifts.
Dude, it is. Macadamia is the biggest, like with those particular.
No, I agree.
That's like the biggest fucking.
Well, it's become a scam now. It's become a scam now because the internet fucked it up, like right up the ass. Like it was like, seriously, like because for a long time, for decades, in order for you to get a good education, you had to go to a college, right? The internet ruined it because there's like, it's like the world's largest source of information. Like if you ever want to learn anything, you could just learn it on a computer. There went you having to spend all that fucking money to learn about, you know, advanced calculus and shit like that. Now I could fucking just look on some YouTube videos or whatever, and bam, I know that. I know what I need to know. Then it's like, so now they have to do more like, you know, clicky shit. Like, you know, like it's now in order for you to get, yeah, like Travis said, totally learn more on the internet than in college. Yeah, I don't know where the fuck I would have been with.
In college, they still made you use the fucking internet to find half the questions, especially
exactly. Exactly. It's like, well, if I gotta look up. Yeah, if I got to look up the internet to determine the fucking answer, then what the fuck am I paying you for, right?
Let me put it this way. I had to use Khan Academy to complete college math.
Yeah.
Okay? I had to use Khan Academy to complete college econ. That says everything right there.
And then, of course, opening the door to the fucking, like, the opening the floodgates to the fucking Chinese.
Oh god, dude. Yeah. Well, and
Like,
that's why I'd say, Travis, is really use your, I mean, obviously you're gonna use it, but use the internet to your fullest advantage and just go to the source. Go to
and
the source.
also look on Twitter to, like, all those other meetings, and I'm sure you've probably done that once or twice, but, like, on Twitter there's other school board meetings that they've, you know, that have been put on Twitter. I've seen a couple of them. That they have, like, what I call social precedent, right? Where it's like, oh, like they've been talking about certain, like examples of why critical race theory or critical consciousness is such a shit idea to teach to children. Like,
Right. Yeah, learn from the best. Learn from people that have done it.
well, it's like, look, it's like, obviously do your research to debunk all of their shit, but also say, well, look, in this county, in this state, they've stated that this, and this was a good point, and this was shown to be effective, and this was, like, so
you can already have people.
you have to do a little bit
out.
of all of it. Don't rely on one thing over the other. Do a little bit of all of it, right?
I would be careful, though. Like, if you're in college and you're paying for it yourself with student loans, I would be careful of putting a target on your back.
Well, I think, I don't want to dox Travis's age, but it sounds like to me that he's not a college student.
I would,
because he's going to a school board meeting.
I'd be careful still, you know, doing that. Like, okay, so
I say fuck the optics going live.
You think he's a parent or a kid, or?
I personally am guessing he's a parent. You don't have to say Travis, but if you want to, go for it.
Yeah, if he's a parent, then yeah, go have fun with that. Fuck him. But if you're, if you don't have to worry about graduating, fuck it.
Yeah, and another thing that I do.
Start with Mark. You're right. You said this is a local elementary school.
Yeah. So this is what I say. I usually, when I'm debating people, I start out with going, well, how do you define X, right?
Yeah.
This is, how do you define X? And then when they tell me, then I use their own words to systematically destroy their narrative, right? Yeah. That's how I do it.
Define the terms.
So that's like, because if you don't do that, then they'll just make up whatever terms they feel like, and then it's like, well, you know, then they can easily quote unquote win. But if you say, so then even if they change their definition midway, then you could use that against them too, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, so what is it? Is it this or is it that? You're not making much fucking sense at all. Like, so why should I, you know?
And here's a good example too of that, because I'm glad you mentioned that's always a very good debate tactic, is define the terms, because the left has redefined everything for their advantage. Racism's a perfect example. They have redefined racism as power plus privilege. That's not what it means. That is not all what it means. You can look up on Webster, Merriam-Webster, whatever has a legit definition. You'll learn it basically says discriminating against somebody for their skin color or stereotyping for their skin color, something like that. But it's not power plus privilege. But they redefine it that way, so then they can say X is racism and Y is racism when it isn't. And I would say define the terms, look up that Sargon video on low seeders, look up stuff for yourself, but also look up what other people have done, because you might find shit that they've said that you couldn't find, and fact check everything. And most importantly, learn their arguments. You are not going to defeat your enemy if you don't know your enemy. So learn their shit, try to think from their perspective, and then try. Did we get kicked again?
No, man. I'd take a piss real quick.
Oh, okay. and that's how you can defeat them better. And I think you'll do great, and I'm glad that you're doing it, because I am so happy to see parents rising up against CRT and the masks and the vaccine mandates. I think it's wonderful. We need more of it. So kudos to you. You're part of a larger movement.
We've been destroying the critical race theory thing for the last, like, for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
For weeks we've been doing it. Like, it's it's one of those things, and if they tell you that, and if they start telling you, well, racism is privilege plus power or something like that, you just say, hey, I reject that idea, because, well, what, and then you say, well, you debate them on that before you debate on your own thing, because it's like, well, because they're defining racism on a completely false narrative, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, privilege plus power, right? Well, who determines privilege? Who determines power, right? There's the life is way too complex, and the problem, and we've said this before, the problem with critical race theory is it gives way too way too simplistic examples of complex shit, right? It's just like way too simple, because like it's like, well, like I forget what kind of example we did the last time. It's like, well it's like, oh well, they
Damn.
Oh boy.
like black people get pulled over more than white people. It's like, well, okay, so
you get points
where is this exactly? Who's running it? What kind of laws are there? Because not every city has the same laws, right? Not every, like there's so many things you have to think about before race even becomes part of the conversation. It's like,
yeah. And I posted the video I mentioned in chat for you, Travis.
Hold on, real quick. Need to go and speak to someone. Yo, fuckers, turn your shit down. I'm trying to run a podcast over here.
Oh, okay.
He's still running it. It's for context, Phil, and everybody else listening. I think the listeners can hear it, but there's like this hiss. This is from this guy's mic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all this feedback.
God, it sounds like someone's like running their shit through a trash can. Yo, A subpar, your fucking audio is subpar. Turn that shit off.
Sorry, buddy.
Wait, which button does the voice chat?
V.
V, okay. Oh man, what's something offensive I can say?
I don't even remember YouTube.
Alex Jones did nothing wrong.
Wait.
Free Owen Shroyer, Infowars.com.
Mm-hmm.
Oh come on, where's the reaction?
That's special for the podcast, right?
He thinks it's for the podcast. It's for the universe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh god, we got these people to comply with us. This is funny.
No, but
Damn it.
whoever just said damn it, like at least your mic doesn't sound like it's being fucked up the garbage man's asshole. This sucks.
I mean, there is a mute button.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so for
a very
SummerSlam,
simple
right?
solution.
We're down to the main event of the evening, and
His ass.
so it's
Nice job.
Roman Reigns versus John Cena.
John
Right.
Cena trying to cook.
Yeah. So, So John Cena, I guess he's held the WWE Championship 16 times.
Where the fuck did
And
he come from?
should he win tonight, then he would win 17th, which would be an all-time record, right?
I hope he loses.
Right. So most people are thinking he's going to lose, but
Isn't that shit all faked anyways?
it is. It's a script. It's scripted, but it's like,
Ben, is your mic still working?
it's one of those things where I think, because SummerSlam's as
What?
popular as it is,
I just hadn't heard you laugh.
John Cena has got to promote some
Let's
fucking
put some
movies
lag
or
right
whatever,
into me.
because I think he's in like a couple of them right
Mhm.
now. So you got him. He's going up against Roman Reigns, who's like this Samoan. He's he's part of the Inouye family.
So he's like
which
Jason
is-
Momoa, pretty much.
No, which is like The Rock
Oh
and
god.
the
God, that rock guy pisses me off.
Yokozuna,
He's
shit
in
like
too many
that.
fucking movies, and he's not even like I'm so
Rikishi
fucking
fought
tired
too.
of his ass.
I like him.
I don't
I
know.
mean,
Is he like a
look.
track too or something?
Yeah, he's totally trying.
Oh yeah,
not,
that's right.
Not as bad as John Cena. But John Cena speaks
Been a lot of
Chinese,
guns around this
so
guy.
he's like,
Oh.
you know, so
he's
I
really
don't know him
into
too
it.
well either.
yes, so
He's submitted.
Someone's got
Yeah.
a rocket.
he's completely bent over.
Hmm.
But
Wow, he's
What was
still
I
got
was
me.
gonna say?
That was
Oh,
impressive.
according to remember when we had Matt Morgan come to that Turning Point meeting, Phil?
mm-hmm.
According to him, it is staged and scripted, but the stuff they do is it can sometimes be padded, and there's ways they do where it doesn't
Christ.
hurt them, but
Fuck
it is
you and your
basically
rockets.
real, and
Oh,
people
no.
do get hurt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Like so a lot of the maneuvers that they do, I mean, they're not real in that they are inflicting
Severe
like
pain. It's kind of like a stunt
damage
man
on
in a
another
way.
person, but people do get hurt, and your muscles do take a beating,
Yeah.
right?
He's gotten
It's,
multiple concussions.
But
Yeah.
the end result's scripted. They already know in ahead
right,
if it's be a new record or not.
yeah.
Yeah. That's why I said it's kind of like stuntmen, but they actually do more
Mm.
like pain. Or should I say they inflict
get-
more pain than stuntmen. I mean, stuntmen too, they get sometimes into some severe pain and injuries from shit they do.
It's like watching a fucking play. You know what's gonna happen. Like, I mean, you
I
don't
was
know.
gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna call as a play.
It pretty much is. They're just fucking actors.
Is WWE a scam too, Alex?
I mean, some of those are some of them are actually actors. Now, like, no wonder Dwayne had such an easy time going into like acting, because that's what he's basically been doing.
Dude, that's actually a good point. That's true. That is true.
They've always given John Cena shit because, like, they were basically saying they tried to make him into The Rock because The Rock was like, well,
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 I
it
don't
was
know what to do with that.
so Stone Cold was the first like transcendent
Damn it.
wrestler, right? Well,
Mhm.
you had Hulk. I mean, you could count Hulk Hogan, but like
Well,
not
what
really.
about, what about Andre?
Stone Cold was like the first transcendent WWE wrestler because he changed the game damn near fucking immediately, and then like The Rock was next. Like The Rock
Mm-hmm.
did it next, and then of course there was John. They tried
Wow, what a
because
grenade.
The Rock went into movies, and he started going into
What'd you
movies
say?
even more.
So what a
John
grenade.
Cena,
Mine?
the WWE
No,
tried to
whoever
promote
got
John
mine, me.
Cena
Oh.
as the next Rock or whatever, and it wasn't. It was never really. He was never that
Oh, I just
guy.
saw my
like
killer.
he was never
shooting
as
before, I just
charismatic.
like
I mean, he
underneath.
was very charismatic. He was just never as
Man,
charismatic
the
as
so many
The
carbine
Rock.
hits.
So like, but they
Yeah,
kept doing
hit him in
it.
the
They
head.
kept trying to
That
you
one I
know,
stole.
force feed it, and
Oh, that one you stole from
He's
me.
a force meme,
He-
I
pretty
totally
much.
beat that guy down.
pretty much.
Oh, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Pretty much.
I don't know how I didn't beat him.
And now
Like, shoot
Roman
him.
Reigns
Yeah.
is that guy. Like
Trying to
he's
save
that guy that
He almost did.
WWE is trying to like
Killing spree.
force feed
Nice.
on the
Not
public,
ammo, though.
right? Where it's like, but he's obviously because he's
A
in
good
this,
fight for me.
3-4 generational Samoan wrestling family. It's like, well, we know why you're famous here. It's because, you got hooked up. Mom, daddy,
What
grandpa
the
hooked
fuck?
you up.
Rockets,
so,
really?
Right.
so it's like, so that's what
Damn it.
it's looking like right now.
Shot by
And
everybody.
currently Roman Reigns is the champion, and like John Cena is trying to win a 17th championship, and that would be the record. Currently, it's him and Ric Flair are tied for 16th,
Yeah.
16 times or something like that, and then so
Speaking
I
of
don't know, man. Just like these fucking records, like it's not even real.
it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it really, in the end, yeah, you're right. It doesn't
Oh, thank
fucking
you.
matter. But
Do you
I
think
mean-
WWE is a scam, Alex?
So
I mean, it's
5.6.
fake. I mean, it's just like
it's entertainment.
Oh, I have
It's entertainment.
points.
I'm not gonna say it's a scam any more than watching a movie is a scam or a
Yeah.
TV show. Like
Don't you
they
think
got-
movies are scams though?
No, but movies aren't scams. You're just swapping a story. Like, are books scams still? Because there's like a predetermined script. Like, I mean, I think it's if you think that it's legit, like it's not only scammy bit, is it's it makes it sound like you're not expecting. I mean, anyone who has a sense of IQ knows that's fake.
Yeah.
But like if you're just some like random like Chinese guy going to watch his shit, for instance, like you don't know that this is the American culture. This is 100% fake. Then not fake, but predetermined. And you think it's like an actual sport, then yeah, it's a scam. It's not an actual sport. It's just entertainment.
The cool thing is, like the crowd tends to let you know how they feel, right? So if it's like you get a lot of like good guy, you got to get good guy, bad guy wrestling matches and storylines and stuff like that. So if
what it reminds me of is porn.
But if it's too shitty of a storyline, the crowd's gonna let you know. Like they've had times where the good guy gets booed, like John Cena used to get booed. Like it'd be like, "Let's go Cena," and then the other side of the crowd goes, "Cena sucks." Or it's like, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks."
Sounds like a porno in a way.
Yeah,
it's got a storyline. There's acting.
And it's like,
like that part sounds like a fucking gladiator.
Yeah. So nice. And then he tried to be the good guy, and then sometimes he get booed. Right? He get booed, and then sometimes you get bad, like guys that are supposed to be the bad guy, and they get cheered. And it's like no matter what they do, and it's like no matter what they do, they continue to cheer him, and like it's just like it is pretty cool, the crowd interaction, and quite a few times it's forced WWE to actually like make them into a marketable person just because the crowd wanted it to happen. Basically, like you have Becky Lynch.
It's like a TV show. It's like everyone loved this character. They didn't like the ending of this, so they retconned it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a TV show, TV series with a live studio audience.
Yes. So it's a sitcom.
Yeah, but like not comedy. It's like a sports sitcom sort of show. It's like a sports anime.
So it's a play. We're back to the play again.
Well, it's like a sports anime, like a live audience.
Yeah, I guess. We're trying. We're stretching here on our analogies, but
I mean, you could argue it's also like, the fucking Romans and shit. You can make that argument because, like, back over there, if they like wanted the fucking gladiator to kill the other one, they just couldn't say it, but minus the actual killing most of the time.
What if we brought back gladiators?
I mean, they kind of are like probably the closest thing to gladiators that we have.
I think you're right. Yeah. Well, speaking of sports, I did something interesting today because this volunteer from the campaign want to hang out with me, and I was like, okay, cool. Oh wait, let me just Travis in the chat real quick. So yeah, the intersectionality, people think they can nail everything down, but the complex system talk about arrogance. Oh, subpar has subpar audio. Oh, the John Cena memes where he's like, save me, they've got me in a cage, were hilarious. Yeah, it's funny. I bet Phil knows what that is.
Yeah. They try to meme. They've memed them on a couple of occasions like that. Yeah. I was thinking he was saying I was thinking it's like gladiators without the death. Well, yeah. I mean, but there's not really. I don't know.
Yeah,
because it's not really.
But they're not actually playing for their life. It's like faker gladiators that.
Not even a sword fight. Like there's not like it's just.
Why don't they do that? Why don't they go and do that? Have like just like instead of wrestling, just have them go and like fight each other.
I would
jousting.
Call it...
Bring back jousting.
Fencing.
Yeah, I actually want to do fencing.
I did that for like 8 years. It was fun.
I would call it gay porn minus the sex. That's what I would call it, probably more.
That's what. Well, yeah, it's men touch hot, sweaty men touching each other.
You got these oiled up. You've got these oiled up dudes grappling each other.
But like the whole sexual aspect, like I don't think they're trying to appeal to a homosexual audience. I think that sort of defeats the purpose.
Well, then again, neither are frats, and we see how gay frats are.
So it's like a frat sort of shindig.
It's like yeah, and the pro is like, ooh yeah, I'm gonna win this match by laying on top of you for a 3 count. Yeah, or I'm gonna put you in a position and make you submit to me.
Oh no.
I mean, it is kind of gay, but like
It's big, sweaty men greased up, grunting, and like on top of each other. Yeah, it's pretty gay.
I don't. It's gay, but it's not like. They're not trying to.
They're not trying to fuck each other. I know.
It's not supposed to be a masturbatorial thing. It's supposed to be like a sport.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess that's what you say when you go in at night with your gay lover in bed. You're like, yeah, we're not masturbating. It's just sport.
Or like it's not
It's
like
exercise.
I mean, it's like any other sport. Like
I've always thought, like, I'm not even joking. I've always kind of thought, as somebody who is observing these things, I'm like, why are like guys like, do they ever get uncomfortable doing wrestling? Because like you guys are like really grabbing each other.
Dude, that reminds me of that thing for like Beavis and Butthead where they go and do like wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
I got a boner.
He's got a boner.
I've thought about that. I'm like, what if one of them gets a boner during it? Like, what do? Do they just like stop?
No, I don't think they would. Like in professional wrestling,
They probably expect it. They're like, yeah, I know I'm hot. Yeah, you know I'm strong.
Remember when I was I think they stopped doing wrestling like my year of middle school because they used to do that shit all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it progressive though when you think about it?
Well, no, I think there was like a breakout of some sort of STD or like herpes or something, or not herpes. It was.
How are they spreading it?
Because you're touching the sores, or maybe it wasn't herpes. They may have been MRSA or something, but they stopped it for that year.
Oh.
Years, and they probably still don't do it anymore.
Well, actually, I was starting to talk about it, then I drifted off, but I went with a volunteer today to this place. It's nationwide. It's in Lancaster. It's in King of Prussia. It's probably near you in Pittsburgh. Have you guys ever heard of Round One?
Oh, what is that? Is it like Topgolf or something?
No, it's basically a chain. Somebody sniped me on the spawn point. It's basically a chain version of like an arcade plus bowling plus indoor sporting stuff.
Wait, so it's like a Dave and Buster's or something?
Yes, it's like a Dave and Buster's, but it's this newer sort of chain version. It's actually pretty cool. I mean, it can get pricey, but I did bowling for the first time in shit like 8 years. Maybe
wait,
10.
You've never done bowling before?
No. I said it's the first time I've done it in like 8 or 10 years.
Oh, about to say like.
No, I used to do a lot when I was a kid, but all our bowling alleys shut down, and one of them is still vacant in there.
Dude, there's like I used to go. I go bowling every so often. I haven't done it in a while because of getting hit by a car and then COVID. But you know,
that'll do you under getting hit by a car.
Yeah, I didn't want to fuck up things more, but you know, I enjoyed that. Me and my like one old not roommate, but it was my neighbor at my old apartment. We went bowling, I think once or twice.
Yeah,
I like it. And it's actually pretty cheap. I love the shitty pizza they have there. Remember when I was like rushing frats back when I was a junior? I did that a few times.
Well, I didn't try the food at this place.
Oh, it's shitty, but I love the shitty. I love that shitty pizza where the fucking cheese falls off. If you like shitty pizza, you'll love like bowling alley pizza, and they usually have beer too, but that's not something.
Oh yeah, this place had alcohol. Yeah, after
all of them have it.
Yeah, well, it's what I'm saying is though, it's more of it's not like a typical bowling alley arcade. Like it is a very, very big mixture of kids, adults, and everything in between. But I didn't do the arcade stuff, but fucking Travis here gets what's up. He says arcades ! Tons of Japanese style gambling for kids at Round One. Yeah.
Dude, there's a place near me. It was called I forget the name of it. It was like Arcades Unlimited or something. It's like you pay a certain amount of money, and like I think it was like $10 for 2 hours, like $20 or $25 for all day, and you get discounts if you have more people with you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just play the arcades all day for free, like after you pay your initial price. And they have a shit ton of machines too.
This place is massive, dude. And they have a shit ton of arcades, shit ton of everything, and they have those unlimited things too, where you pay like a little more, you can do it for the whole day. But he's right. He gets it. Travis gets it. It's like Chuck E. Cheese when we were saying it's basically a casino for kids.
Well, see, there was this old place when I was a kid called Laser Dome, and it was like that.
Oh, laser tag?
Laser Dome.
I know, but did they do laser tag?
Yes, they did laser tag, and you'd pay like I think it was $20 or $30, and you get there for like all day, and you get unlimited free popcorn, and you would also get like laser tag, popcorn, and unlimited fucking games. And back when I was there, I don't know if it's still even open, but they even had like fucking Halo 3 over there, and it would be like a giant like LAN party with like whatever the max was, like 16 people.
That's cool. They actually had. I saw. Yeah, it's not the same thing, but they had one of those a Halo arcade thing that was there,
No,
which I've never
like
seen before. But I know what you're talking about. It's more of a LAN thing with Halo 3.
Yeah, it was like the actual game. Like some of them have like there's a Halo arcade game, but this was just like actually Halo 3.
Yeah.
And they also had like a thing where it was like a laser show with music, and when I went there, they had like the Beatles and stuff on.
Oh, nice.
And it was cheap as shit too. Like I'm thinking, it was like, man, I should have went there more often because you get free unlimited popcorn, free unlimited soda refills, and you got like 2 slices of pizza as well for like I think it was $20 or $30, and you could stay there all fucking day.
Where is this laser dome?
It was near
Lancaster?
No,
because there is. I think there is one in Lancaster. Because I remember somebody mentioning it during the campaign.
Maybe it was Lancaster. It was somewhere around Harrisburg, I thought, but maybe it was Lancaster. It's like an hour away from my house or so. So it would be either one of those.
I'll Google it real quick.
Within that from my parents.
Yeah, but this place, I have to admit, like I'm not a big arcade guy. I mean, I haven't done it in a long time. Even though as a kid I found it fun, I kind of am scarred by it now because ever since you created that it's a casino for kids analogy, I just can't unthink that now.
It depends on the arcade games.
I know.
Too. But
yeah.
Like if it's like on the unlimited ones, then it's different. But if it's like you're paying all the time, it is fucking. Especially like some of those the old timey pinball used to be really bad too, because apparently old-timey pinball is not like the real pinball that you and I know. It was like actually a gambling thing, and they used to have them at bars like back in the 40s. And you wouldn't even have flippers on. It was basically like pachinko or whatever.
Well, the other cool thing too with this place is, so like I said, there's the arcade section. There's the bowling alley. I only had like 10 lanes, but I finally got back into like how to do bowling. I hadn't done it in a long time. So like first throw, I just went right in the gutter, but I finally got my groove back on. But because I've only done Wii bowling for like recently, that's like the only recent type of bowling I've done is Wii bowling. But they have in the sporting section, it's so you can pay like whatever you want for the arcade. There's unlimited pass for everything, but in the sporting section, you basically pay to get in, and you have unlimited access to everything if you pay for the unlimited pass, or you can pay for time, like 60 minutes, 90 minutes. But you can do anything you want, and they have like a mini arcade there. They have basketball, they have batting cages, badminton, table tennis, pool. Like I did some pool billiards.
It sounds like a fucking YMCA.
It kind of is like a mini YMCA. And they had these little mini bikes. They had those hoverboards, you know, the hipster hoverboards that you stand on and you like lean forward and backwards for it to move.
Yeah.
I've never done one of those before I did it. It was scary as shit at first, but I got the hang of it. Really, it actually, I'm not making this up, it makes your calves like fucking work out. Like I'm literally aching right now from that. It moves your calves that much. And there's, what else was in there? I'm trying to remember because he didn't hit everything. Oh, there was a rollerblading. Like there's a lot of shit you can do just in that. But that's just one part of it. And then there's the massive arcade and the bowling alley. So it's a massive motherfucking place. But the bowling alley, dude, you've been to bowling. So what was it like when you bowl? Like what's the whole, you know, you punch your name in and
then they'll do the little board or whatever up there, and they'll have those like little silly things like, oh, you got this, and they'll show like a virtual thing of what happened.
Yeah, you remember that. That's what it was like when we were kids. Pretty basic.
I mean, they have different types of bowling too. Like they have the ones with the duck bills or whatever.
Oh,
the
dude.
bowling alleys that are run by the fucking pedophile or whatever, where you have You have the kids putting their fingers in the bowling ball and the fucking and the desk dude putting his fingers in the kids.
Well, you know what they do now is they have at each lane is a fucking like mini iPad type screen on it, and I mean, I like I said, the reason I say I haven't been in one so long to give you context, like my experiences. You start and I'm like, okay, we got punch in our names, right? And no, that's not what you do first. You pick like a fucking game. There's Angry Birds, there's all kinds of shit that you can pick from. And so you pick all that shit, which doesn't do anything for me because it just makes it more complicated because you don't, I mean, it's cool, like don't get me wrong, it's cool, I'm not being like a boomer, but you can't keep track of your score in like typical bowling with some of these. It'll be like, oh, you have 10,000 points now if you get a strike or something. But then you put in your name and all that jazz. Then you can take your picture and put your face on there. And then they ask for like all your fucking information, like your number, your email, your address. I was able to bypass all that, but I'm like, they selling my info for bowling. I mean, Christ,
Yeah,
I don't need to give my address for bowling.
The ones I went to didn't quite do that, but
it wasn't required.
They did the little stupid game. Like it wasn't necessarily like they had their own third-party version. It wasn't like Angry Birds, but they did games.
This
and
had
then
a
you go and watch
shit
that.
ton. It must have been like 50 of them you could choose from. But
I went there not. I went there not probably a couple years ago before I got hit by a car. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean, we should go one sometime for the shits and lulls, but there's
I'm telling you, man, I'm going down for my birthday. My birthday's coming up soon. Fucking.
That's right.
Labor Day weekend. Let's do some shit. Fucking Phil, get your ass over here. Let's do some shit.
Yeah, we'll be in Phil's backyard. Literally, it's Shady Maple.
I'm gonna go to that Shady Maple place, and we'll go and fuck around.
That sounds good to me.
It'll be fun. It'll be a boys' night out. Boys' day out and night out. But there's another layer to this though. It's not just the screens, it's not just the games, it's not just the fucking selling your information about everything. But in some of the games, like Angry Birds is a good example, they will project onto the lane a bunch of like shit that if you run over it you get points and stuff. It's a fucking projection.
That's different than the one. Like I go to the shitty little bowling alleys. I didn't go to a lot of the fancy ass ones, and that seems like it was pretty fancy. Although, remember back in the day, there was this place near York called whatchamacallit? Fuck. It was called. It was another laser tag place, but it was mixed with a bowling alley. And I remember because it's right near the Maple Donuts, which, by the way, is the most base donuts in the world. Like the dude's a Trump supporter.
Nice.
And they were good. And I get it. Like I'd go there at like 2:00 in the morning, because I get the fucking donuts for like $2 for 30 donuts because they were all old. But anyways, I go over to that fucking place, and they'd had the arcade, they had the bowling alley, they had the laser tag, all in the one place. And this was actually a decent bowling alley too. Like a decent laser tag. Like the other place, Laser Duns was kind of shit, but this place was legit.
I don't know if this place had laser tag, but it should. If it did, it'd be like the ultimate fun house all in one. I haven't done laser tag in a long ass time. That's another thing I haven't done forever.
Yeah, it really depends where you go laser tagging.
Yeah.
Some places suck ass with the laser tag. Some places are like actually pretty decent. Cause there's this one place in Maryland called Shadowland. They were the fucking best, but they didn't really have a lot of other games. Like they had like 4 arcade games. My buddy, I think he went down for my birthday or something, and he found a cheat code for it, where he would
laser tag.
It wasn't for laser tag, it was for the arcade games, and he stuck a Chuck E. Cheese token into the arcade slot, and it would basically keep all the money in there so that, you know, you could go and take it out later.
Oh my god, that's great. That's great.
And he fucked with the machine, and like he had, like there's some other kids who had a birthday party, and they're all excited, and he was like, oh yeah, this game's awesome, and they started putting all their money in there after he put in the Chuck E. Cheese token. And then he just fucking took the Chuck E. Cheese token out and he got like $10 worth of quarters.
Nice. Well, there is, I remembered correctly from my campaign days, there is a laser dome in Lancaster County. I think that's the one you went to. It's in Mannheim.
That was probably I just know it was a certain distance away, and I don't remember if it was...
Yeah, well, 'cause you're in York. It's not that, it's literally an hour away. You know,
Yeah.
that's an hour away from the Lancaster central area. And that was close to my territory. That was like really, that was right by like 15 minutes from our office. So, and we had people out there that would try to recruit volunteers.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do that deal though. Like they used to do it, especially during the summer, because it was like the shit. You know, you pay for that, and their popcorn was all right, but it's all you can eat.
Oh,
All you can eat popcorn, all you can drink soda. You got your pizza, and they could go and fuck around all day.
Hi, your birthday's gonna be interesting.
We'll find something to fucking do. We'll have some fun.
Like that round one, I mean, we'll check it out online to give you a better sense. It's one of those things where I kind of look at it and I think, man, this would have been cool to have as a kid. Because we have locally this place called Grand Slam and this other arcade style place, I forget what it was called, that we would do a lot of birthdays at. And it's cool, but it's nowhere near the level of this thing. Like this thing just has everything and it has a lot of it. If it has laser tag, then it literally does have everything, but I don't think it did. But
you know what I haven't done in like forever that was fun when I was like younger? Fucking paintball, man.
I've never done paintball. I would love to do it.
I think I did it like once at an actual place, and I played around, fucking neighborhood before. But man, there was this one place when I was in some sort of like teen camp, and we went there once, and it was like at this big place, and they had other shit too, like, but that was the big cell, and it was and you go and like just fucking fuck around with that. But it was like a big summer camp. And they had like a rock climbing wall on the inside. There was like a shuffleboard table, pool, billy, all sorts of other shit.
Mm-hmm.
But like I remember our camp counselor got kicked out or something because he like kept shooting someone too close. But I haven't done paintball as much. I did a lot of airsoft though. Like I had my buddies would do that.
What's airsoft? Like that's the one thing I don't understand is I understand how paintball shoots paintballs, no shit, but what does airsoft shoot?
Little airsoft pellets. It's like a BB, but it's plastic.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say I wouldn't think it'd be BBs because those can actually hurt you, but pretty badly. But
I mean, depending on how strong your airsoft guns are, it can be painful. Most of them are kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, don't you have to pump those for them to fire?
Not necessarily. They had like some of the nicer ones were either electronic, some of them were CO2 powered.
Oh.
I love the electronic ones were expensive. I used to have a really nice like MP5 one, but I gave it to my cousin because I haven't played airsoft in years.
Yeah,
What were you saying?
Used
to go around in like the woods in my neighborhood and fuck around with that.
Yeah.
But the woods went to shit because no one maintained it.
Well, that's what I've been wanting to. I kind of recently just thought of this recently. Is I want to kind of find not necessarily a sport per se, but some sort of physical activity to do, because I do want to. I'm not a fitness junkie. I kind of think that's cringe, but I want to.
Hey, it's one of the best hobbies to have. Coming from someone who's not fit. I've been going to the gym like 3 days a week now, but
it just bores me. That's the thing. It's like you go to a gym, you pick stuff up and you put it down. It's like, okay, wow, epic experience. I want to do something exciting, interesting, that develops a skill, that's fun, but has the benefit of getting me in shape and makes me healthier, where it doesn't feel like a chore. Because my girlfriend got into MMA and she really likes it, and it's exercise, but it's not a chore.
Do you look if there's any sort of like, soccer leagues or something?
I've done soccer, dude. I'm never doing that shit again. It's so tiring. It's hard.
Well, yeah, but that's the benefit. Like, or something like that. Maybe I know my workplace, like they have I think it was a softball or something, or soccer or softball or something.
You want me to do softball?
I mean, it's for adults. I mean, it's basically baseball.
It's
just
for girls.
Idiots. It's for people who are dumb.
for girls.
It's the
I
same
am a
fucking thing.
man with manly body parts and manly convictions.
Well, you'll still do shit. Like, workplaces do shit like that. Like, when I was at my old job, they had a ton of stupid shit like that. But I never did it because I was working midnights, but,
Well, the one thing I think I will try... Again, I kind of have to try things first. I mean, I do like Frisbee or disc golf or
oh, God, that's so
Ultimate.
fucking hipster.
Well, have you ever heard of Ultimate Frisbee?
Yes, I've played it before.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That might be something I'm gonna consider, or fencing, or.
Dude, I know where my brother goes to. He had this one called my other friend, the guy who came on last time, like Dylan or whatever. He did it too. It was called like HEMA, and it was like the Chad fencing.
Oh, Chad fencing. What's this?
So instead of using sabers and epes and foils, they use like double-handed swords.
Nice.
But I don't know. I like the Olympic style fencing though because the scoring system makes more sense. Because with those big swords, it gets like hard to tell. Like, hey, did you actually get hit or not?
Oh, that's autistic. No, we're doing regular fencing then.
Like with the fucking epee, like you could even some of them you can hook up to like electronics. Some of them have like right away. Like saber is the most pain in the ass with that. At least when I did it, because like there's so much things like angle of attack that it gets autistic with the epee. You just like, did it hit or not? Did they hit within the same time period? Then that can be a double hit. Well, that's about it with the fucking right away with it.
I almost did this in college, but I didn't get the chance. Is curling. I know it's not for physical fitness, but that shit looks like it's like golf on ice. It's intense. It's so cool looking, and it's hard.
You're looking at doing just some ice hockey. Like, that'd be fun.
Nah. I don't think I'll do that. I think, honestly, the first thing I'll try is fencing and maybe Ultimate.
If you can find a place. I mean, you probably can. I know there's one in York.
There's gotta be one somewhere.
And I know if the Southern York County YMCA used to have one, but that was years ago. There's probably somewhere near you that does it, but with all this COVID shit.
Oh, man. Well, that was a good thing about round one is there were no mask mandates, no social distancing. I mean, there were a bunch of cucky people with masks on, and apparently the employees have to wear them, but everybody else could do whatever the hell you wanted. I'm definitely gonna try fencing to see if I like it, and I don't know if this would give me physical exercise, but would paintball or airsoft anything do that?
Oh, that's definitely physical.
Yeah, I might try that then.
But the problem with that stuff is like it can get you're not gonna probably be able to do it as much as some of the others. So like fencing, you buy the initial equipment, then you're good for a while.
Well, that was something I was gonna ask about fencing. Do you have to buy the equipment, or can you rent it? Can you borrow it? Like, what's the deal with it?
Well, when I was at my old YMCA, you could borrow it, but I ended up buying my own because, like, you have to reuse stuff like the equipment other people use, and it could get kind of gross.
Yeah. Well, what equipment do you need? You need, like, the sword, this stuff on your...
The sword, the helmet, the fucking shirt thing. I forget the name of it. If they have electronics set up, you need like the and you're doing foil or saber, I think you need the lame, I think was the name for it.
Lamau.
It's like this little chainmail-y thing that has a conductor on it, because if you do electric...
based.
If you do electric, they hook like a little thing. It doesn't shock you, but there's like a tiny electric current that goes through, and if you get stabbed, it's for right away for electronic. Like, if they hit the little chainmail part, that's considered a hit. If they don't, it's off target.
Right. Well, and how does it work? What is the Olympic style fencing? What do you do? What do you, like, how do they keep score? What's the whole shebang?
Well, there's 3 different weapons. You have foil, epee, and saber. Foil has a smaller guard than the epee, but other than that, and the blade's a little bit smaller. Like, not lengthwise, but like the guard's smaller. And that one is the beginner one usually, and some people really like it. But there's a lot of right-away bullshit with it. And you just you stab people with it.
You don't hit, it's just stab.
You stab. The saber is the only one where you do the slash.
And that's the Chad fencing you were talking about?
No, that's epee. I think that's the best. Epee's the best because with foil, you just it's like fucking Star Wars, man. You just keep getting your wrist chopped. It gets pretty gay.
Okay.
That's what they'll. It's really easy to go and get fucked over by stupid shit like that, like a flick of the wrist.
Right. So the stabby one is the fun one?
There's 2 of them. No, so the foil isn't really that fun, but it'll teach you the fundamentals, like, and that's usually where they'll start people out at.
Mm-hmm.
Epee, you can stab people anywhere other than... I don't think there's actually anywhere off target with that one. I like that for that reason, because it's easy. You don't have to worry about right away with that one, which is why I like it. It's a little bit heavier. The grip's a little bit longer.
So you could stab someone in the crotch, and it would count.
Yeah, technically.
Nice.
And then the saber, you can stab or slash. But if you slash it, there has to be like a certain angle with that. And there's a little bit of shit with that. That's probably one of the more complex ones. I never liked it too much because there's only like one person at my old place who really knew the right of way for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like all the He-Man like non-Olympic style, and they could get like they have some weird stuff. Like I knew someone who did this weird like cane boxing stuff. I forget what he called it. But he did a lot of really weird weapons. And if you do like the non-Olympic style, they even have like sub weapons for some of them. Like it's cool. Like I'd try it, but I'd like the Olympic one more, just as a sport.
So what's the one you like? Epee Olympic?
Yeah, but you'll probably have to do the foil when you start out.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll try because I like the more, I don't want to say obscure sports, but I don't like the traditional soccer, football, baseball. I like playing them every now and then. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's not something that I want to invest in and master. It just doesn't interest me that much. But stuff like fencing, archery, curling, handball even interests me.
At least with like fencing, it's an individual sport, so you don't have to worry about your team as much.
Yeah, actually that's a good point. I don't like team sports. I am an individualist. I don't like teams.
But like there was one sport which I used to be on a swimming team, and we did this game. Well, it was a sport, but we only did it like 2 times a year. But it was like the one thing I was like always fucking dominating. It was called like water polo.
Oh yeah, I know water polo. Yeah,
that one was fucking fun. But I don't know any place that just does that. Like outside of like college.
I think there's a lot of swim clubs that do that. You basically have like those nets set up on the end of the pools, and you basically it's like handball in a fucking pool.
Oh yeah, the way that we did that was like incredibly violent, and I don't know if there's anyone else that does that. Like someone always got like bloodied to the point where like my senior year they only did it once, and I think they phased it out after that because people kept getting hurt.
Christ, what were you guys doing? Like punching each other?
Yeah, and like I got yelled at for like basically like thrashing someone, like
doing like whiplash or something. Water polo. What were you doing?
It got violent. Like it was like football almost. Like we would get to that
rugby, not football.
Yeah, we get to that level of violence though.
That's hilarious. That's honestly hilarious.
Well, it was fun. Then we also did like a really violent version of Sharks and Minnows.
Oh man.
Like that would get like really bad because you had to like drag people above water. And like I'd always have like with all these fucking scratches on me, and I was like one of the better like those 2 games, like that was like the things I was the best at on that fucking swimming team. Like I had all right with like the backstroke. Other than that, I was just kind of all right. But like those fucking games, I could kick ass at.
Yeah, that's cool. To address our boy in chat, he says, in my hometown there was a place that charged by the hour, big LAN set up, and they sold trading cards. That sounds cool.
Trading card games, they're the original microtransactions.
Yes, dude. Even as a kid, I was like, these are scam. No, playing for tickets games are gambling. They're rigged and everything. Yes, I want to go bowling at round 1 now. Yeah, you should try it out. Gotta go, guys. A lot of laughs. Have a good night. Remember, if you move to Arizona, hit me up. Help you find a house. Oh, thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Have a good night. I don't know if you're hearing this part because you might have already left, but I appreciate the support and the interaction. It's a lot of fun, dude. We'll see you next time. Alright, let's beat this Galo.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things to do. Like, I mean, I just like to go to the fucking gym to go and deal with my shit.
I hate that. See, that's me.
It's not
I
fun.
hate the gym.
I don't like going to it, but you know, I got in this fucking habit of just going there, listening to, like, the fucking podcast or something.
I'm gonna shoot you in the ass right now.
Oh boy.
Following you.
I do that. Go to listen to the podcast.
If I do that at work, I do too much podcast listening now. I'm so fucking bored.
It sucks, but you know, for like that 30 minutes I'm doing it, it's pretty fucking efficient.
Nah, I get why people do it. Don't get me wrong. It's just for me, I've learned that I'm kind of I'm kind of almost autistic / ADHD, where if it's boring, I can't do it. I like certain things that give me a little, that slow things down, to calm things. Like a movie that moves slow pace, I love it. But gym is boring. There's no excitement in it for me. I need excitement. I'm like, oddly enough, I think my therapist is right that I'm kind of an adrenaline junkie in some weird ways. I won't do the bungee jumping or the skydiving, but I'll drive a car really fast, or I will do something edgy, or
hey man, why don't you get a new car?
I'm poor. I'm not getting a new car.
You got enough money. You got enough money for a new car.
See, that's something I like, is go-karting. That's something.
Oh jeez, yeah. My girlfriend used to work on one of those places. It was fun. Like, I've done that a shit ton of times, but she was working there.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned that to me. But you know, I can't get a car there because like I don't want to blow money on something stupid like that when I have a car. But
for now, I mean, I wouldn't buy one right now.
No, dude. As long as this one works, I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna keep my money and spend on other things. But my point is, wait,
why don't you buy a VR setup?
No, I'm not gonna. I mean, like, it's gonna be a fucking like.
Dude, they have some stuff. Like, I used to know this like ex-military guy at my one job, and he got like some VR game. I forget what it was, but it was like a first-person shooter.
Ooh, that's gotta be cool.
And it was, yeah, it was like a fucking kill room. Like, he compared it to a kill room when he was in the military.
Well, I want to try one. Don't get me wrong. Like, I had a couple times I almost tried when at Penn State, but they forget what happened. Like, if it was during a class or something, so I didn't get the chance. But dude, I totally want to try one, but I don't want to have one until I try it. But I do want to try one. They sound really, really freaking cool.
My brother has one. He has like the.
Of course he does.
He has like the H or Evo or Vivo or whatever the fuck it was.
The one at Facebook, the Oculus?
Maybe it was. I don't know if it was the Oculus. Like, he had when he offered it to me, but like, I don't have the room for it.
Should have taken it, dude. We'll find space.
But I don't have the fucking. Nah, dude.
We'll set it up in our right-wing frat house.
Yes. But
dude,
like,
that's what we should put the frat house, as a fucking VR room.
Yeah.
Laser tag, a VR room.
What would I play? I played like that Beat Saber. I thought it was stupid because I thought it was supposed to be like killing people with sabers, but it wasn't. But you know, like, they have some cool games for it. I enjoyed, like, I like it, but like, I just, you know, he didn't have it set up long enough for me to actually see. He didn't have any of the fun games.
Well, see, I don't have space for one either. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's cool, but it's very impractical for most people because you don't have the fucking space.
Yeah, that's the issue with it. But man,
it's cool.
If I could set up in my. If I could set that up in my living room, I would do it, but I think it needs to be, like, near the computer.
Do you have a basement?
Yeah, I'm not putting shit in there. It's, like, it's finished-ish, but not really.
So it's not finished. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the issue with it. I don't want to put shit in there because there's issues with that basement.
No, I get you. I'm just trying to find something that keeps, because I've learned the benefit through things I've been going through recently, the benefit of just exercise in general, fitness, whatever you want to call it, where it can keep your energy up, it can keep you happy, it can keep you motivated. Like, there is a benefit that I used to always dismiss it, I will admit it, but I've learned the benefits of it because I never saw the benefits before. Maybe I didn't need it, but I've realized now that
it's hard to see the benefits unless you're doing it for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of like coffee in a way, you know.
Coffee, I see the bet. Like, I saw the benefits more when I first fucking started drinking. I used to be really like fucking caffeine sensitive, and then like I remember I used to be a lifeguard. That was the first time I really had to drink it because I'd be on the morning shift. And I was like, fuck, I need a coffee. And then like, man, it was like I'd be like hearing shit. I was getting like all sorts of weird like caffeine overdose stuff. So mom used to make a really strong cup of coffee.
Yeah. I still haven't been able to get into it like daily drinker type. It's just, I don't know, man.
Yeah, if you can stay away from it, that's fine. But like, if you're not able to have the energy, it's good to have the energy. If you don't need it, then don't use it. But if you need it, you know, because there's certain times, like especially at work, you know, you first get in there and it's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Or like, I need to drive some, like especially when I'm driving long distance.
That's when I do use it. Is like when I would drive up to Penn State. Always used it. Or like when we do the show at the Lion, the radio station, I drank it because it made the show better, because I was more energized. Yeah. But other than that, it just makes me crash.
John Cena lost, by the way.
Oh.
Good.
Yeah, but
go woke, go broke.
Right.
As Trump said, woke is for losers.
So it was interesting because he came out when he came out to the ring. He wore a shirt that had all 16 titles on the back of it with like the date that he won the said titles. And already I was thinking, oh, that just gives it away. Like, why? Because if you wore that shirt, you're probably selling it. Like, you're probably selling it. So why would you sell something that like if you won, that shirt would be essentially obsolete, right?
Yeah.
Because we all so it's like you kind of just gave it away.
It's a good
but
point.
it was cool because as soon as Roman Reigns won and he like raised his title up in the air, then Brock Lesnar's music hits and he comes out to the ring after after like a long hiatus. Now he's back and Brock Lesnar, people know Brock Lesnar because he was also a UFC champion. He was a pro wrestler, then went to the UFC, then became a UFC champion, then went back to professional wrestling, and then so he's like that's like a God-given ability kind of athlete.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it was kind of cool in that aspect, but I kind of figured once I saw that shirt, I kind of figured Roman Reigns was gonna win, and then but like it was still cool. It was still a cool event. And
is it over now?
Yeah, it's over. Yeah, that was the main event. Event over. Yeah. By the way, okay, so let me change subjects here a little bit. As we know, like us two know, Governor Abbott tested positive for COVID.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I saw a tweet about because he did therapeutics, right?
So that was a couple days. So he tested positive a couple days ago. He took the Regeneron antibody cocktail that President Trump took. Right when he caught that, when he caught it, and now he's testing negative. So
it's almost like the therapeutics are the key to all this.
Which is what I'm saying is like, well, okay, why aren't they pushing more of this shit in the other states? Like they're pushing it in Florida, they're pushing it in Texas.
Because they're Republican.
Exactly. And this is why they totally want you to just like be reliant on vaccines and booster shots and all that shit. Like, no, you like, look, you've got something that you've got this Regeneron cocktail that reduces hospitalizations by 80% according to one study. Like, dude, that's it.
How expensive is this?
Well, in Texas and Florida, it's free.
Really?
Yeah.
Free to you if you have the right health care.
Right. Well, no, I think the state's covering the cost of the pharmaceutical, which is crazy because both of those states have zero income state tax. But anyway, they just have sales tax and all that.
Well,
shit.
Texas has that oil. You know.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, look, they make up for it in other ways. Like they make up for it in like property tax, sales tax, all kinds of other taxes, which is actually fair. Like, look, I'm all for that because it's like it's more of the philosophy that I like the Governor Huckabee, like the consumption tax. Like, no, if you're consuming shit, you should be taxed for it. Like. That to me, that's like fair. Like,
well,
I don't like
see what Dr. Dan Stock was saying in those videos I posted last week about the treatments.
Yeah.
I didn't fact check any of that, but basically to cure everybody else, and what he was saying is that doctors, the reason they weren't doing the hydroxy or these other treatments is because apparently, I mean, there's the profit incentives for the vaccine, to do the vaccine or that, but apparently they would get disbarred or whatever it was. I forget why. Maybe you'll remember, Phil, but they basically were scared to prescribe these things because they could get in trouble, is the gist of it. I forget why they'd get in trouble, but they would. Because they're not, so they're picking, and right now what it looks like they're doing is they're picking and choosing, because all of it is, right now, none of it is approved by the FDA. Like, none of the medications. Right. So, yes. It just depends on where you're at and who's in charge of the state or whatever. Like you could run the risk of losing your license if you're like issuing medications that aren't FDA approved. Because it's technically FDA approved, but not for treating COVID. Not a full FDA. Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and so it gets into that weird territory. Right. So yeah, it's. That's why it makes sense now, and my gut tells me he's right on it. Yeah. So and of course the FDA is corrupt as fuck too. So, yep. That's what I'm saying. There's those multiple angles. They're already saying that they're going to approve the Pfizer vaccine, even though it's like I want to say that's like a 30% of efficacy rate or something like that. Yeah, I forget. Did you see what Trump said about that recently?
Compared to the Moderna one, I heard the Moderna one a lot of fucking negative effects.
Well, like, there's negative effects with the Pfizer one. I know there's not much similarity.
I've heard there was worse.
Really?
Because I got the Moderna one, and I know that I got some friends that had the Pfizer one, and that one was actually worse on them. But I mean that could be just different, immune system. Yeah, people, immune systems, whatever. But like,
from what I've understood, I remember Sky was just saying it seems like the Moderna one's probably the best one.
I'm not gonna be getting crazy. By the way, I'm not gonna be getting crazy fucking like booster shots or whatever.
Yo,
I'm not done with that shit.
I wanted to talk about that because this is where the conspiracy side gets a little more compelling.
Yeah,
Trump said this in the interview with Maria Barcelona too, which was interesting, is because Trump says I recommend you get the vaccine, but you have the freedom to take it or not, which is a very reasonable stance.
Right.
But when she asked about the boosters, he said, and this is where I say the post-Trump presidency interviews are interesting. He said, "Oh, that sounds like a money-making operation by Pfizer." I was like, "Yo, let's go."
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah.
And he said, he's like, "I know those guys. They're not nice guys." Yeah, it's like, I could see it. Because, look, I think, just regardless, let's take aside what you think about the intent of vaccines in terms of getting us out of the pandemic and all that, because they very well could have been made to do that, very well could have made not to. Whatever you think doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, there's still a profit incentive, because whoever makes this is a fucking billionaire, and whoever gets is a fucking billionaire, because everybody needs this vaccine. For if you think you don't or not, that doesn't matter. It's just there's going to be a massive market for it. And we were told initially, oh, it's going to last. I remember them saying a few years. That's what I remember. I could be remembering wrong. But it wasn't like a couple months. They're now saying only a couple months you need a booster. And so it's like, well, what the fuck is the point of this vaccine? If you need a booster after a couple months, you get COVID and you probably have longer immunity. I almost want to get COVID now. Like, Jesus.
Well, they should get, like, see, I think they should have fucking, like, settings where you can, like, get that as, like, if you're healthy, get it. If you're afraid to get a vaccine, like, have one where, you know, you'd be in a safe setting, you get the fucking virus, and then they'll just give you the fucking dosages.
Well, you know what I'm thinking now, and Scott Adams tweeted this out, and he was right, and people were saying this at the beginning, is I think the only way we're ever going to really get out of this pandemic is everybody gets COVID. Whether you're vaccinated or not, almost everybody's got to get it to build up natural immunity, because even if the vaccines were, like, the vaccines are really saving the vulnerable population. That's really what it's doing. You know, we can debate whether it works, how much or not, but it's really saving the vulnerable population at the end of the day. And everybody else, vaccinated or not, is getting it. So I think everybody's got to get it.
I see, and then they're making up this bullshit too, like this long COVID stuff.
Oh, God.
I think that's a fucking lie. That's a grift.
It's a grift. It's a scam.
That's a way to go get people to go and get the vaccine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Probably
I'm telling you.
By the fucking companies.
I'm telling you, if I get it, I'm gonna try to get the I'm gonna, like, if they don't,
You want to get that therapeutic?
I will be searching high and wide for that fucking
Can you give me COVID? Like, when you get it, I want you to come over to my home and give me a big fat hug and spit on me so I can get COVID.
Dude, I'm surprised people haven't done that already. Like, that's a brilliant idea.
Voluntary
like,
super spreader.
Like, that's what people who are like OG anti-vax would do, is like they get like they'd have their kids get chicken pox and they just go and like mail you like the pustules.
Really?
Like, that's what they would do.
That's amazing. That's funny. Well, see,
That's basically the vaccine. That's like the OG vaccine. That's what they used to do with cowpox.
It technically is, but it's, you know, not like a typical safer vaccine, but I get your point. But what I don't understand, you know, I mean, I kind of know why they're not doing this, but if we were in a smart society with not all these evil motives, and if you're going to, these areas where they're doing these vaccine passports, what doesn't make any sense is, why isn't there an immunity passport for people that've already gotten the virus?
Because there's no money in it.
I know, and that's what I'm saying is, like, if you were to do this in a sensible way, and I'm not saying you should do, I'm totally against vaccine passports. They're immoral and stupid and wrong, and are going to be used to oppress people, and they segregate people. But if you're going to do something like that, you should be able, and maybe businesses will do this, if you can show proof of positive COVID test, you should be allowed the fuck in if you're fine. You should also be able to show proof of, I'm a healthy individual. You should be allowed to show proof of that. I mean, it's ridiculous that you have to get the vaccine to enter businesses, to enter restaurants in New York and other cities, because you could have had COVID, and you could also be immunocompromised, and getting a vaccine is dangerous for you. Because some immunocompromised people, they can't get vaccines because of the ingredients in them. It's very dangerous.
Or what if the fucking the immunization just doesn't work on you?
Yeah, that's another thing. And people with religious, I mean, I know there are religious exemptions, but religious exemptions where, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard the argument made that the vaccine has like aborted parts in it, like parts from aborted fetuses. So as a religious exemption for pro-life Catholics, they can't get the vaccine.
I think it's the J&J was the only one that had that.
Oh, okay.
Or as Arnold Schwarzenegger says, screw your freedom.
Oh my god, dude, I want to punch him for that. That's a metaphor. No, I'm not promoting violence. I disavow political violence.
Maybe if he punched his housekeeper, he'd be in a better position.
He already gave her a pounding, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he pick ugly chicks to like cheat
Dude,
on?
there's other.
They were the only ones that put out to him.
Because they'll do the freaky shit. They will do freaky shit.
Yeah, like look, she married Maria Shriver, probably wasn't putting out, so.
Man, I don't get. It's like,
I need you to touch my penis.
Get to the penis.
You got to get to the balls.
Get to the bedroom. Well, you know that I know we won't say the names on air, but you know that personal example I cite of a particular person we knew that cheated on somebody's boyfriend. Remember how I mentioned that?
Yep.
How low do you have to go to get to that? Is it because the girlfriend isn't giving you anything? Is that why guys do it?
If a dude is going out with a chick and he's not getting any, as time progresses, he will start looking for other options.
But won't he look for like a 9 out of 10 Brazilian model?
Well, I'm sure.
Not in all cases.
Look, I'm
Sometimes
sure.
it's proximity.
Okay. So he's gonna gradually go down the numbers. That's what the plan is. So dude was probably like the nines of, in that dude's case, the nines were already impossible. The eights were already impossible. Sevens, maybe if you're lucky and you get somebody drunk, maybe. Sixes, all right, maybe sixes might be a little bit more attainable.
I think it's a proximity. I think it's a proximity for a lot of people because it's like maybe they weren't exactly.
He's in college.
I'm thinking more of like Arnold, but maybe even him because it's easier.
He's in Hollywood.
But it's easy. But then he had to go and do a lot of effort. Maybe he wasn't really looking, but an opportunity presented itself.
Right.
And that's what happened. The opportunity presents itself.
So he just couldn't keep his dick in his pants, is what you're saying.
Well, no, like he was about to go and like leave, but like, maybe she might not be the only one either. That could always be the
she wasn't. We know that. But I don't know, man. I think men get a little too desperate, and so they just grab whatever poontang is in their arm's reach. And so they'll sell some disgusting. Or maybe they think it's exciting. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't get when you're dating like depending on your opinion, a 7 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that wasn't a 7. That wasn't a 7.
The girl he was dating wasn't a 7?
No.
I don't think so. I think it's more of a... Because of the
6.
The sorority baggage and all the other stuff.
I think it's 6, yeah.
I was going to say 6.
A 6 is a fair. A 6 is a fair, I guess. Because at least...
Yeah, I'd say 6.
Yeah, 6.
It's got some mileage on it, so yeah, 6.
Yeah, it's got some Baja miles to it, so yeah.
I wonder if, too, they were like, he probably thought like, she's in a sorority, so she's probably already cheating on me, so what, I'm making it fair. That's probably his justification.
He's probably, she's probably fucking anybody but me, so now I gotta, so obviously, you're, because if she's a 6, now he has to start going for the 5s. Well, maybe he's probably not going to get a 5. So, because if he's a cuck bitch, he's probably not getting a 5. So now,
but he was able to get a 6. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
he's not banging her though.
But the 6 is being a bitch.
You could have a 6. You could have a 6 for a relationship and not bang her. But like, like she just like they'll be happy to take you in as a relationship. They'll just be fucking everybody else but you.
Oh man, that's wrong. How does a woman do that? Like, what's the point? Just stay single.
Well, maybe he has good job prospects. Maybe he's connected. Maybe he's like, maybe he's a friend of the family or something.
Friend of the family.
Friend of the family. I don't know. Fucking know. There are reasons, okay? There are reasons why there's sexless relationships, okay?
That's cocked.
I don't know of any, but yeah, shit happens.
But
think
anyway, it started with sex and it ended with.
So you got to go to. So then if the 6 ain't plumping you, then you're gonna have to go for the 4s.
Oh, there's a lot of plump in that 6, man. A lot of plump.
Well.
Under the arms and the thighs, and there's a lot of plump.
Yeah.
And the one he cheated on, that is, I should say.
Oh yeah, the one she cheated
on.
One he cheated all, like on, like, no, the one he
Well,
cheated with.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's
Well, see, she was probably willing to do degrading shit too.
yeah.
Wait, let me give him some like pseudonyms.
But she was probably willing to go and take it up the ass and stuff like that.
I don't know if she would. She probably thinks she's better than that.
Dude, I don't know.
No.
Let's call her a goblin, and let's call
Well, the Green Goblin, like from what I heard from a Russian friend of mine, she did some pretty degenerate shit back in the day.
Really? How did he get that intel?
Because he used to be like Snapchat friends with these people.
Oh god, she pops up on my Snapchat suggested friends. I'm like, nope, I ain't seeing that.
Nope.
I don't want to see that stab story. So, well, I mean, I'm just trying to like get in the mind of a man that's in this situation, and it's just, man, just lowering yourself. Like, I mean, and sex is real. I bet they start with a hookup. You know, they start with some hookup, and they're like, oh, do you want to, like, one of them probably said, I love you, and then they realized, I guess we should date. You know, they were drunk, like, I love you. And it's like, okay, we'll date. Don't date Johnny. That's not his real name, I don't think. I don't know his name, but, you know, sounds like some frat boy that, like,
the original couple probably was like, we're friends, and then the friends grew into like, well, we'll probably move in together or whatever, or like we could probably just do it, but I just don't find you sexually attractive, but we could still play the role, like, and then of course, you know,
imagine role playing that.
The dude's probably like, look, I've invested a whole lot, you need to put out, or I'm looking for
or
plan
I'm
B.
cashing out.
Yeah, I'm looking for plan B, and then of course, you know.
Oh, I think he was looking for multiple types of plan B.
Goblin was the plan B.
Oh, I just couldn't do it. Like, even
Imagine like having an accent with that person.
Oh god.
Yeah, like that would be.
We'd be rushing the Planned Parenthood, baby.
Yeah.
And because they're conservatives, they're probably keeping the baby too.
Conservative, quote unquote.
Well, yeah.
Well, actually, that's like the one thing she supposedly believed in was pro-choice. I'm starting to realize why.
That's the only way she's having kids.
Exactly.
Anyone with the right mind would go and fucking go to Plan B.
Yes. Well, see, I'm still, look, if I was in my virgin days, if I was super desperate, I still wouldn't even go for her. I just couldn't do it. No. But this dude had
yeah,
something.
but like, it's a political, like, maybe if you want to, maybe at some point, you know, she'll get a political position and they want the power. So they have to go make a deal with the devil.
It's like a Hillary Clinton. Like, you know, if she wasn't powerful, nobody would touch it. But you know,
right? What are we supposed to be doing this game mode?
We're supposed to collect the skulls and bring it to the skull depository.
Oh, yeah, I kept collecting, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do with them. Where is the skull depository?
Oh, that changes.
Oh, I see him on the map now. Or on the, screen. My HUD. Oh, man. The people we knew from Penn State. Holy fuck.
See, like, it's just so crazy. Like, I wonder how things would have been different if we went to any other college.
The more people I've talked to, I've kind of realized there'd be some crazy shit, but not as crazy. Like, that's my takeaway. And that's why I started writing the book, which I gotta get back on that at some point.
Yeah, like, it's legitimately interesting. Like, just some of the weird shit we got the opportunity to be a part of. I
know. And that's how I met you guys. That's how I met my girlfriend. That's how I've gotten all these opportunities.
People in college. That's just the way shit works.
Meet what in college?
Their lady friends.
Well, a lady friend, but maybe not the lady friend or whatever.
Well, a lot of people did. It's a pretty commonplace. It's either it's usually college. It used to be high school back in the day.
Yeah, whenever I hear high school sweetheart, I'm like, damn, how did you pick